Ish? Hey, Bank. Hey, everyone. Welcome to, well, Great Ace Attorney. Hopefully this time I should have a good at least 3 to 4 hours to play this game tonight. My god. I've been so busy lately. And every time I get to the game, I just get tired after an hour. I can barely make any progress. Let's hope we can at least get to day 2 of this trial today. Well, there you are. Oh! What kept you, my dear fellow? Hello, Mr. Sholmes. Gina? You sure about what you said in there? That the boss, you know, actually died the day before? It's pretty hard to swallow. Gregson! Hey, Cub.
You're so shocked by the revelation too, Gina.
As was I. Possibly more shocked than both of you. It's not a competition, Mr. Sholmes. But I was more shocked than all of you put together. This is the autopsy report in question, is it? Yes. It's strange that there's no time of death noted. Suppose there's a simple explanation. Or perhaps it was a deliberate omission.
Oh dear. If it was deliberate, it puts me in the mind of the last case we worked on, Dr. Seath.
I know. Anyway, it seems that on the day before Lord Van Zieks discovered his body, Inspector Gregson was investigating the Red-Headed League. So perhaps something happened with them. Fuck, I still need to make that edit. Wait, do I have the right screenshots for this? I need to check. Please tell me I do. Okay, I should. Okay, I should have the exact right screenshots for this. I will do that later. You had trouble with those League men too, didn't you? Oh wait, you had trouble with those League men too, didn't you, Mr. Sholmes? You were taken in by their trick. No. Naturally, I wasn't taken in, as you put it. My sleuth-hound interest was merely piqued slightly by the rare scent of a weekly £4 income. And that scent masked the underlying scent of deception, I suppose.
The two criminals in question are the pair we saw arrested yesterday, aren't they? In Mr. Sholmes' suite, I mean.
That's right, Snooze. That was me who took him in. Thanks to a tip of my good law-abiding citizen. Indeed, yours truly. So it's going to be that pair in the witness stand next, is it? Something doesn't quite make sense to me, though. The day before Inspector Gregson was found, you hadn't had trouble with the Red-Headed League yet, had you? Why would the inspector have been investigating them? Well, the likely explanation should be that Gregson's own sleuth-hound interest was piqued by the rare scent of a weekly £4 income. How can this man joke about Gregson's death? Or does he just actually know? Like, does he actually just think this is the truth? Don't Tom with the same brush as you, Sholmes.
Yes, well, then there's this whole issue of Inspector Gregson being investigated by Lord Van Zieks for some reason. The Reaper, the Red-Headed League, Inspector Gregson, Lord Van Zieks.
And Kazuma. I feel those he knew we'd arrived at this point somehow.
Gosh, I think you're right.
What's he really trying to achieve here today? All the answers will soon be revealed. Observe the time, my dear fellow. This recess will be over very shortly. Yes, you're right. Kazuma was determined that he should be the one to prosecute this trial. And he was determined that I should take the defense. Just what is it that he's hoping to make me see, I wonder? He's so upset that everyone did take his Sigurd cosplay seriously. I get the feeling we're a long way from the end of this trial yet. Are you ready then, Mr. Sato?
Yes.
Second of November, 1 PM, the Old Bailey courtroom. Why does he look Why does Von Zeeks... Hold on, can I do this? Yeah. Why does Von Zeeks right here... Why does he look like he's posing for a dance or something? Like... he has some really good posture. Like, look at that posture. Anyway. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again. We resume the closed court hearing of Barak von Zeeks, here present, who stands accused of murder. Now then, Prosecutor Sorgi. I think it's the flexibility to get his booties up on the... Booties or boots? Let's get this clear. My lord. Have you summoned the witnesses as requested? Yes, the 2 members of the Red-Headed League, who planned and carried out the deception. They arrived not long ago from the local prison by the police carriage. Very good. I thought he was going to say very well, but yeah. Bailiff, usher the 2 men into the courtroom. You decide which one I mean. These 2 men are currently being held by the police on suspicion of attempted extortion. You may omit your occupations, but state your names now for the court. I am Fabian de Rousseau, a descendant of the great Rousseau family from the Sèvres en français. I don't even know if I am so fucking sorry. And my name is the Peppino de Rosse. I am the 3rd son of the great Familia de Rosse. The landowners from Napoli. The 2 men first became acquainted at a boarding school for the European nobility. Those who graduate from Temsic are the future leaders of Europe. But, do you have any idea how boring it is to be born with noble blood? Hello. I make my mission to get the better of the world by employing the little gracers of my plane. That is all I'm trying to do, huh? So, that's the only reason for this whole grand deception you've been carrying out. Oui, you could say that. Not bad, eh? Yes, the great ideas, but the petty plans. This strange combination is that the charm of the hilarious brothers. Hilarious brothers. Look, it's Mario and Luigi. It's Wario and Waluigi. Actually, Wario and Waluigi kind of fits. At least their height a bit better. See, couple? Listen to me, Peppino. I have 2 things to say to you. Okay? Are you about to tell me of one of your grandi anecdotes? Evviva! Firstly, I want you to stop killing me, this capo. And secondly, we are not the Herrerius brothers. This is serious business. Capello! There it is, the capo's Tarampa card. The furrowed brow. I can't do fucking accents. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for butchering everything. It is deeper, capo. The furrow and the meaning of your words. The court has been led to believe that under the banner of the Red-Headed League, you have conspired to swindle money from unsuspecting members of the public. Is this true? Oui, c'est ça. What exactly was the nature of this deception by which you have planned to defraud? Alors, I will explain it. No, Capo, leave it to me. As you see, we both have the vivid red hair, no? At the school, we'll tease for this without a pity. The Capo here, he was many a times behind the schoolhouse crying like the Trevi fountain. Where's those dogs? those dogs one day would see world would respect us redheads. Every night he would belly his head. C'est bien, Pepino, enough. I will explain the rest. The first step was the newspaper advertisement. About 1 week before the plan was put into operation, we listed the same notice in every paper in London. Yes, we saw that notice. It was this one, I believe, entitled To the Red-Headed League. I've been playing in the Pokemon fan mode the entire time. That's how one is supposed to spend Sunday. Oui, c'est ça. I'm honored that you have seen it. It states that the only condition for joining the league is having flame-colored hair, and that if you satisfied interview panel and admitted to the league, you could receive a weekly income of £4. On the date specified, red-headed hopefuls gathered in droves at a park specified in the advertisement, and from each person present, this pair took an application fee of 5 shillings. And with the money to France, it was a plan most elegant, don't? No, it was most dishonorable. But to be frank, I'm stunned anyone who was foolish enough to be taken in by such an obvious trick. The park was described by one witness as choked with red-headed folk, like a coster's orange barrow. And the day on which these men gathered to apply was the day before the victim was discovered. Crucially, these two men spoke face to face with every single person present that day. Oui, I have seen more red-headed people in one day, son. Will see the rest of my life. See, and now every time I see the couples, I feel sick to the stomach. Anyway, why have we been summoned here today? I'm fucking conflating the Italian accent and the French accent at the moment, and I'm like mixing them, and they're forming this amalgamation of what the fuck am I saying? Greninja raids on Scarlet Violet. Nice. I don't care. I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm so over Scarlet Violet because I'm just like, every time I open the game, I just get bored. Like, I want to finish the dex, but every time I catch like one Pokemon and I'm like, yeah, that's enough. I feel like I could be doing something else right now. So I feel like I've kind of just stopped caring about Scarlet and Violet, which kind of sucks. I wish there was more to do in the post game. Though I should go back and do the school stuff at some point. But yeah. The date for our trial was not until tomorrow, I was told. Naturally. Neither of those men have been told any details about this trial. Saying it's a Pokemon game is a bit too generous. No, it's a Pokemon game. They've only been shown this photograph. Very good. So Mr. Derasaur and Mr. Rasossi. What do you mean, Rasossi? Sussy? Derossi. It's Pokemon Slide. I mean, isn't every game a slideshow? Look at those flames in the background. Aren't they beautiful at, what, 25 frames per second? I don't actually know if they are running at that frame rate, but it's possible. It doesn't look 60 FPS. This is a visual novel. Frame rate doesn't matter. It really shouldn't. On the subject of the gentleman pictured in this photograph. Of course, we are always ready to help with the law. And also break it, apparently. Man in the photograph. We had more than 1,000 red-headed people assemble in the park on Lime Street that day. Those flames do not look... Oh, yeah. But I don't recall the man in this photograph, Capo? Capo? None. I don't remember him. Obviously, he's dead now, but I assure you, he was not in the park. Allora, this victim is nothing to do with us. The way that Rossi person is jumping That's meant to be like a Mario reference, right? You have a lot to answer for, Peppino. It is your fault that we caught up in this first place.
You've given sworn testimony that this man in the photograph was not present. Can you be certain?
Oui. I am quite certain. We did not interview this man. Nobody looking like this came to the park. This I can promise. It must be noted that you have been arrested for grand deception, however. Accordingly, this court has little confidence in your assurances. Uffa! What's with this attitude? We get to know, huh?
He's really a sulking now. This confidential document was obtained directly from Scotland Yard. It records an entry from the inspector's private diary, dated the day before the incident. It reads, Lime Street, red-headed, undercover.
Ah, I have the answer. Maybe there was another similar event in the park on the day in question, eh?
That is ridiculous. There's no question that Inspector Gregson was investigating the red-headed league, which means it's quite possible that's when he was killed.
Very well, the defense may proceed with the cross-examination now.
Yes, my lord. My lord. Why does Kazuma in that, like, last little cutout that... Hold on. Not eShop. Not what I meant to do. Here it is. This little cutout, you know what Kazuma looks like when he's like this? Kazuya. Like, from Tekken? Am I the only one who thinks that? I mean, sort of. I know why I thought of Kazuya. I know, he just doesn't look like Kazuma to me when I see him like this. Anyway. I keep forgetting I have that, like, zoom in enabled. Because I have not been using it. I genuinely forget that I have it enabled. I should use it more. Okay.
Hold it!
What do you mean by that?
Cavolo, you promised not to say, aye, capo? After we had taken all these monies up there, we should have left the country. That was my plan. I left the purchasing of the tickets to the ferry to Dunque and my companion, yeah? But he bought them for the wrong day.
Oops.
See, but it's an easy mistake to make, I
can't fucking do this.
the 31st. Oh, I have no sympathy for you. We were all there for and all day late for the boat because of your stupidity. And it's only because of this that the so-called great red-headed detective caught us. Capo, you know what I think? This is the work of a god. Is a holy punishment, eh?
Peppino, for the last time, this is not only punishment, it is only your fault. Don't blame a god for your unholy mistakes. I can't fucking read this. You're making me sick with anger. Maybe I make a mistake, But when it's time to eat the pasta, no one is a faster. And I've seen the evidence. They haven't told us much we didn't already know, which means we got a press. What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, if it was in the inspector's diary, it seems like he must have gone to Lime Street that day. And yet, these two both claim they didn't see him. I have to say, they don't appear to be telling lies.
Well, they are experts in deception, don't forget. Sounding plausible is their specialty. They may be lying simply to avoid being implicated in this case as well.
Surely, if they're truly experts in deception, they wouldn't have been caught.
Well, yes, you do have a point there. It seems to me like we need more information. Yay, let's press more. I just want to press the last statement. I thought maybe we would get something out of it. Here we go. He doesn't look at all familiar.
No, I don't think so, and this is a way guy. He was trying to trick us. I do not like the people who are trying to trick the other people.
Says the con artist.
If between them they interviewed 1,000 people with red hair, it would be unreasonable to expect them to remember every face.
No, senor. I may be a smaller, but my memory is very large. I never forget a thing. In my opinion, I do not think this man was in the park.
I can't fucking do these characters' voices. He's not going to give the court a definite, it seems.
Hey, couple, you didn't see a man like this, huh?
No,
Okay.
Hold it!
But according to what you said, you spoke with 1,000 more people that day. We are true. My eyes were burning by the end of the day. Surely then, you can't actually remember every single face. How are you so certain that this particular man wasn't present?
Normally, the red hair is very distinctive, right? But not when you have 1,000 redheads crowding around. Then it's just an eyesore. But if there was some other information you could have given us, then we would recall.
Ah, here we go.
That is not the line, Peppino. Remember, we do not remember him. We are sure of that, fucker. If there was a man with a red hairpiece, but his moustache did not match the color, then I do not think I could have forgiven him.
Kazuma said that these two had only been shown that photograph and they'd been told nothing else at all. What if I just fed them one other detail about the victim? For example, the fish and chips. Oh no. I can certainly appreciate that just knowing the man had red hair wouldn't help you remember the situation. But what if I told you that the man was always munching on a pack of fish and chips? Do you remember the man who was eating incessantly?
Not really. I was looking only at the heads of the applicants. Wouldn't have noticed the fish and chips anymore than the caviar and smoked salmon. Oh, spaghetti! Me! I love the spaghetti!
Really? I had no idea.
Tell them again what you said before, Peppino.
Okay, I'm guessing I have to choose something else there. That fucking jumping animation, I'm certain that's meant to be like...
Aha, it's me, I'm Mario.
Hold it! He wasn't eating his fish and chips. His profession? I can certainly appreciate that just knowing the man had red hair wouldn't help you remember in this situation, but if I told you that the man in the red hair piece was actually a detective.
The man in the photograph, a detective?
Yes.
it would appear he found your notes in the paper suspicion and decided to investigate incognito.
Sorry, but this changes nothing.
Excuse me.
Something to add, Mr. De Rossi? Okay, see, I'm always adding something: parmesan, olive oil, pepper.
What I mean is, did you not agree with your friend's last remark by any chance?
What did he just, what did he just say? About the detective?
Yes, that.
Keep your mouth shut, Peppino.
You have said enough already. But why, Capo? What is the problem? There was a man who said, I'm an inspector from Scotland Yard.
What?
Good Lord! Order! Explain the volte-face in your testimony, recent witness. It's simple. A man who was at the park. There was no such man. Madai! What are you saying, Capo? Have you forgotten, I have forgotten nothing. Nobody liked this game to the park. Basta, Capo, basta! You beat me at many things, but not two. Memory and meals. Like I said, when the time is to eat the pasta, no one is faster. But you are inferior to me every other way, so shut up! Objection! Drop Todd, the damage is done.
Indeed it is, sir.
Oui, there was a man who came to the park. He said he was an inspector from schoolyard. However, he looked nothing like the man in the photograph. He was someone else.
How can you be so sure?
Because to start with, his face was completely different. See, is it true? The man who came was younger. His face was clean shaven. His eyes were sadder. His chin was thin.
No resemblance whatsoever then.
Anyway, I was not going to be fooled. I took the obvious precaution and said to him, if you are really a detective, show us the proof. See, the capo, he doesn't take no nonsense, eh? But he was well prepared. He said that he had identification.
Identification? You mean official police inspector's identification?
That is most unconvincing.
Sorry, my lord?
Counsel, no incognito inspector would offer his identification for inspection. It's quite out of the question.
Definitely. Why would he expose his true identity?
Clearly the paper were fake. Certo, capo, you are a genius. As we say in Italia, it takes a thief to recognize another, eh?
And what happened after he announced that he was a detective?
He became very annoying. He said, you are in the investigation. So look, I took his papers from him and chased him out of the park. It was fantastico, and here is the identification.
So you stole it from him, man?
He had it coming. He made us very scared. But he was not who he said that he was.
Indeed, the person described does not appear to have behaved as your inspector would. However, I believe it prudent for these identifications to be into evidence.
But I like them.
Alright, let's take a look at this. Well, I suppose we should see what this inspector's identification looks like inside. Hold up. Yes, it definitely looks fake, doesn't it?
Out of interest, what name is given?
Probably just something plucked out of the air. It's Tobias Gregson. Wait, what?
The Scotland Yard's insignia looks genuine to me.
But how?
And the department identification number details are correct as well.
Since when have you known those? Do you mean to say?
I know it seems incredible, but yes. I think this is a genuine identification book issued by Scotland Yard.
But that's unbelievable. This is the real thing after all? Did someone take it off Gregson after they killed him? I don't know which one to present it on. I'm gonna assume it's this statement, just because that's where it left us.
Objection!
Yeah, good. I wonder if I could ask you to examine this identification book very closely. Miss Lestrade,
Why Miss Lestrade?
What's your intention here, Counsel? Is this really a fake, or is it genuine? That's the question. Which we can't answer ourselves.
Objection!
Don't be ridiculous. No Scotland Yard detective would allow his or her identification to be stolen.
Oh, wait! That is the boss's! No question about it!
It can't be! As I suspected. The undercover detective who attended the Red-Headed League's involvement on the day in question was the real Inspector Gregson, carrying out an incognito investigation.
So hello!
Ora!
But if the boss had his identification stolen, he would have reported it straight away. I mean, he was all at me about it. If you lose something, report it at once, he'd say.
Daiyakuten Saiban 2. Yes. Welcome, May. Hey, how you doing? Could it be then that the inspector was physically unable to report it?
Physically? What are you saying?
Unable to. You're not suggesting.
Yes, it's quite possible that he was killed before he had a chance to report his identification stolen.
No.
The defense posits that the victim was killed the day before his body was discovered, at a different location. Do you two have anything to say about that?
I know nothing. I don't know nothing.
Pull yourself together, Peppino.
Mondo, you can behave like a little more master criminals on that, no? Now I wish I had a return to Italia.
I fucking don't like these characters.
Stop crying, Peppino, please. Otherwise, Stop your women whining and stop talking. Well, I believe our court will need to hear your... I know nothing. I don't know nothing.
But you will tell everything, or face the worst possible outcome.
You will dry your eyes and testify again about these identification papers and the precise circumstances under which you came by them. I looked up best characters of this game, and one of these put Shamspear above Kazuma. What? Okay. Also, Bank, one of these two is French and the other is Italian. So I'm not quite sure if that quite works. But yes, I do feel that. I can see that, yeah. I like the Skulkin brothers because they were like apple and pear, but these two, they're just like red hair.
The truth is, we took him prisoner and kept him Fuzzy United at secret hideout. Even though I didn't think he was a real detective, I was too scared to let him go that day, just in case. We took the man's identification from him and shot him in our room into next doors. There might have been a little tussle, but we did him no harm, and the next morning we let him go. He spent the night in the lighthouse, nothing like a prison, really.
Shamspear dance.png. Wouldn't it be GIF?
This is outrageous. You're in prison, man. But no. It was not like a prison. It was very comfortable and calm and happy, Aye, a capo. It was never part of my plan, I swear it. Uffa, so you think it was my fault, aye? Just because I got the date of the ferry long. Just by one little day.
I do not think it was your fault, Pepino. I know it.
No, 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 no. Per favor.
No, 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 no. What is this? May? At Poppy Tag.
You should have plenty of time for squabbling back at the prison, gentlemen. Oh, if I don't believe this, how could I have been a real detective? Counsel for the defense, proceed with the cross-examination.
So, on the day before the incident, Gregson spent the night confined in this pair's hideout. All right.
Hold it!
Do you realize what you're saying?
You have to believe me, I never intended for that to happen. I'm sure the detective did not intend it either.
Do you think?
But there was nothing else I could do. See, nothing else. It was the first crime for the couple. It was at the end of his history weeks. I have told you before, Peppino, that is not the way to describe a criminal.
A criminal? What the fuck is that?
A criminal mastermind.
What about this hideout of yours?
An old empty house behind the park on Lime Street. We rented the place for 2 days. It was an inspired idea by the keeper here.
An impulsive idea, I would say.
No, no, no. Not impulsive. Inspired, couple.
I know what a womanal is.
What am I supposed to say to that? Oh, Pepple?
Pepple? I'm mispronouncing words all day today, holy shit. And it was in that house described by you. It was in the house described that you find Inspector Gregson.
Oui. But you have to remember, I was under the impression that he was a pretender, not a real inspector.
That doesn't quite add up though. If you didn't think the man was a real inspector, there would have been no reason to take him prisoner, would there?
No, you're right. You are right. But we couldn't be completely certain.
Okay, I wonder.
Hold it!
Too scared? Why?
Because we had to come to the park. We didn't know. There was a chance that he had seen through my plan. And if that was the case, he would go on straight to the police station to blow out the whistle on us. If it was just a feigning to be an inspector, it was up to no good, huh? Without a doubt.
I think most people would agree that it's you two who are up to no good.
Well, see, you may be right. Hey, couple. The point is, we were not able to escape from England immediately. That is why we had no choice but to take the man prisoner.
What I don't understand is why the inspector felt the need to show you his identification in the first place.
See, I ask myself the same question.
We were writing down the names and all addresses of the people. We took 5 shillings from that day. I have forgotten what the name he said, but the address, it startled me.
See, address, Scotland Yard, Homicide Division, he said.
What?
He probably didn't like your face, Peppino.
I mean, what is that face? It's like the smile emote. Smile emoji. Anyway, I was not rude. I just politely asked him why he had said it.
And that's when he started to say he was an inspector. Not too long after, he took out his identification.
What was Inspector Gregson playing at? Shulk, what are you playing at?
Tell the court what happened next. You took him back to your hideout.
See, we did that.
Little tussle. This is probably what's important to press. What do you mean by a little tussle exactly?
Boff. It was nothing. Just a minor incident. The false inspector, he was a real piece of other work. Aye, couple.
What happened?
Oh, it was a disaster. We gave him a nice room. And what does he do? In the middle of the night, he tries to escape through the ventilator.
Can you blame him?
We chased him into and we got him again. Can you blame us?
Wait, you didn't shoot the man you haste, did you?
Dude, who do you think we are? Of course not. I simply called all of him again. Took him back to the room.
Excuse me. Mr. De Rossi, is something wrong?
Aye, me?
Something Mr. De Rossi said seemed to make you, well, it seemed to make you act even more strangely than usual. What was that all about?
Couple of times like that. You don't wanna have other couple after you, believe me. And I speak from a personal experience.
Personal experience?
That is enough, Pepinos. There is no need to say more. The truth is, the night before we put the red-headed legal plan into action, I was scared. It was not fair to the couple, but I tried to run away.
It's a shame you didn't manage it.
But the couple here, he came after me like the turbine, and he dragged me back to the house, kicking and screaming. I still have the bruises to prove it. Aye, couple.
Bruises, you say?
Ah, you wanna see, oh? You wanna see my fantastical bruises?
Oh. Wait, there was someone in the last...
That's enough now, Peppino. No one looked at any part of you. What to do, huh? I assure you, I don't. I assure you, I don't.
You do, now!
Allora, if you don't see, then I do it. Ecco, you see, it's still a very visible lie.
That red ring around your neck. You got that when you were dragged back to the house.
See, the couple, sometimes he is a very rough. I said that's enough. Peppino's neck has nothing to do with what we are talking about here. You have my word. Yes. What is your opinion, counsel?
About this red ring around Mr. De Rossi's neck, I wonder, does it matter? It's important. Mr. De Rossi, I'm going to have to ask you to amend your testimony with details about that mark on your neck.
Aye, couple, you see? Everyone is interested in what I say, huh?
He doesn't look too good.
Very well, you amend your testimony as requested, Mr. De Rossi. See, if you really want to know.
Ah, I see. So, I got it. I understand. Okay. What if I do it in here? Probably not. What about this?
Objection!
Yeah. So the day before his body was discovered, Inspector Gregson was taken prisoner while working incognito.
No, it was not like that. It was hardly a prison, it was an invitation to stay. It was only...
Have you described it? There's one glaring inconsistency that remains. I figured out at least part of this. Basically, the person who seems, I think, took the notebook, the identification was this guy, Gossip. No clue who he is, but he clearly was dragged back by the neck with the belt.
What is inconsistent, counsel?
I would ask the court to look closely at this photograph of the victim. Inspector Gregson. Look at this graph. You will see. There's no red ring visible around his neck.
But that makes no sense. It was me who took the color of the man off the morning. I saw the red bruises on his neck, just like I have.
Given that the mark is still clearly visible on this witness's neck, we'd expect to see bruising on the victim, who was put in the collar more recently than Mr. DeRossi.
Indeed, that is most peculiar. But what we tell you, we say this from the beginning many times. Oui, Peppino is right. The man in the photograph is someone different to the man we had kept at the night. Ora!
It would appear then that on the day before the incident, the man who visited the park on Lime Street posing an incognito inspector was not Inspector Gregson at all.
If that's true, however, how do you explain the inspector's identification? This is a genuine identification book issued by Scotland Yard. It's inconceivable that someone could have stolen such an important item from the inspector. The prosecution has made that assertion itself.
And we also know that the inspector had made a note about the Red-Headed League diary in his that day, which surely means we can't divorce the two events completely.
The inconsistency noted by the defense is most troubling. If it were the real Inspector Gregson whom these two red-headed gentlemen encountered, the fact that no bruising can be seen around his neck defies explanation.
But equally, if they actually encountered an imposter...
Fuck.
How did that person come to be in possession of the real inspector's, identification?
Does the defense have some plausible explanation, counsel?
I keep hitting ZR. The whole thing defies explanation.
It is precisely the occasions that we keep meticulous notes in the court record, Master Naruhodo, because those are the facts, and facts cannot lie.
No, the facts can't lie. Even when they point to something so incredible, it's almost unbelievable. Well, my lord, the true identity of the person who turned up in the park for the Red-Headed League's enrollment is revealed by information in the court record, I believe.
Good gracious!
Very tantalizing.
Tantal night! Tantal night!
Mr. Naruhodo, so why don't you tell us? Help us all to see whatever the truth is that you've apparently seen. Who exactly is this inspector that appeared, before Mr. DeRosso and Mr. DeRossi?
Though it seems incredible, I admit, the undeniable facts point to only one thing. Snow bruising can be seen on the victim's neck. I already made the imposter joke and nobody noticed, apparently. Like, why are you saying this now? I already paused when I said imposter for the first time. This is the second time. You guys are late. You need to be faster. I'm expecting you to be on the ball. I'm joking, it's fine. Anyway, the person who these two red-headed men took prisoner that day cannot have been Inspector Gregson.
In other words,
every time I read, I feel like, I don't know if anyone's noticed this, probably not, but every time I read the words, in other words, I always take a break Because I feel like I should be continuing them with the lyrics to Fly Me to the Moon. In other words, you know? But I stopped myself because I realized, wait, shit, I don't know the lyrics to Fly Me to the Moon.
In other words, your whole argument up to now has been a waste of time.
On the contrary, I haven't finished.
What?
There's no bruising on the victim's neck, so the question immediately posed next is, who exactly is the man on the Park and Lamb Street found to be carrying Inspector Gregson's identification?
See, that's right. We tell you the same story every time. Whoever the misman was, the capo dragged him from a pillar to a post from the dog collar.
Do you not know the words? If you played me the song and I sung along with it, I think I'd be okay. But off the top of my head, I keep blanking. In other words, I don't know the words.
So who was not the false suspect, eh? Who was he?
Clearly, the defense has an idea about that. About the true identity of the man these two imprisoned that night.
Do you know the words? If you're not a fan of the words, peak fiction, raw, goat, fire, get out.
I must ask the counsel for the defense to elaborate post haste. Who's the witness encounter in the park posed against Inspector Gregson?
Imposter.
Take that! Goodness me, isn't that?
One of the witnesses who was in the stand in this very courtroom earlier today. A nameless man whose only occupation appears to be peddling hearsay to passers.
Objection!
What on earth would a street seller be doing with the police inspector's identification papers? Witness, is this the man or not?
What has happened to his lip? See, this man is not the red-headed league, eh? He's looking for the twisted lip league, no?
Perhaps rather than making such a rash claim next time, you should bite your lip instead.
It seems improbable, yes, but one undeniable fact remains. During his testimony earlier, I noted something around the man's neck. A red ring of bruising.
Oh? What?
The defense demands that Mr. Gossip be brought back to the stand.
Order, bailiff! Bring the aforementioned witness back to the courtroom. Immediately! Well, I never! An undeniable ring of bruising indeed, and identical to that of the witness beside him.
What the fuck? I can't do so many voices for fucking one-off characters that aren't gonna show up later again. Holy shit. Especially with accents. I'm actually gonna lose it. Holy shit.
Know what's going on here, eh? I've always thought this is me. It's a birthmark, isn't it?
A birthmark, you say?
I assume the reason you've been recalled to the stand has been explained to you.
Some out about the inspector again. But I'm telling you, you've got all wrong as usual.
You're denying all knowledge of it.
Well, of course I am. I just want to go
Well, at least you have more stories to peddle back on Fresno Street, won't you? Now, we're going to need you to testify again.
And you, Mr. DeRosso and Mr. DeRossi, I'm sure you'll cooperate, won't you?
Do we have any choice? We are in bigger trouble, eh, couple? That's quite enough dilatory chatter. Proceed with the testimony.
The man who claimed to be an inspector that day was definitely not this man. He's right, see? He's right, man. You think we would have forget these grand lips, huh?
Oh, you're really restless now. I have no interest in red-headed league.
Crying.
I'm all alone in the world. I've no kinfolk or nothing. Why would I do something like that? You look at me, eh? Doesn't look like a guy with a disguise with a face like this. It suddenly appeared that we have the wrong man.
What have I been telling you? There is no need for this pointless testimony.
This is a propeller. Remember, all I know. How would I accomplish by a complete inspector's identification book? Eh?
Well, yes, that's hard to explain, but...
A brief cross-examination, I think, Counsel. A very brief.
Isn't there anyone in this courtroom who thinks I might be onto something?
I stand steadfastly at your side as always, Mr. Naruhodo.
Alright. Alright, what do we want to do? You said quick. Huh. Hold on. I need to reposition a few things. I don't know if I have enough evidence with this. I might just need to press. How is this gonna link to this though? Because clearly it's all gonna be related. I'm just not quite sure how it is. Alright, let's do this. So, you'd heard of the Red Headed League, had you?
You don't get a name like Gossip for nothing, eh? It's my business to know what's going on in town. I saw that safety dead bit from every redhead that came past me. Just between us, I got your chance to go up for.
Well, he does have a very red nose, if that counts.
Who knows? Was that a pun?
Well, dude, my own head has got a hinterland in it. In any case, let's just see my part. You don't got rich run to some part of town? No, sir, not a lightly.
Excuse me. Mr. Rousseau. Oh, you? Could I help you? Did Mr. Gossip's words just now lead you to remember something relevant, perhaps? It was the other day, when I was looking for a place near the park. A small house or something. To be the headquarters of your Red-Headed League, yes. I visited an housing agent on Lime Street and there I saw him. This man was paying money to the agent.
What?
Mr. Gossip was a housing agent?
Oui,
he had some kind of contract in his hand and they were clearly discussing terms.
But no, you mistaken, chum. I never left Fresno's with me. Like I said before, you mistaken me for someone else. Someone with the same face. No, the couple right. I remember it at all. He was paying the man with the banknotes.
With notes?
Look, like I said, that was me!
I was curious why there's a man in the dirty clothes that sent me so much money. As I looked at the name on the papers. And what name was written? Mr. Gossip. No, this the man. He lies. He tells you what he has to know on a name.
But in fact, his name is Hugh Bono. He's better than Mr. Gossip, I think, see? No!
Oh. Wow.
But better let it better than the man like it's in a flesh or six, and that's that. I don't much like folk talking about my personal life. Indeed. It's not the intention of the court to invade the privacy of witnesses. Very well. I shall respect your wishes, sir. The aforementioned name shall be redacted from all court records of this trial. Assuming no objections.
Objection!
I'm sorry, my lord, but the defense does object. Because the name just mentioned has a very deep significance to this case.
Good gracious, do you similarly object, Prosecutor Sorgi?
As it happens, my lord, that particular name has already been mentioned during today's proceedings.
Well, I never! In what capacity?
Hugh Boone, the name, the leaseholder of the room.
Let me put this very simply. The victim's body was discovered in your rented room.
I suggest, sir, that you start talking.
Alright, so that might be the case, eh?
So your real name is Hugh Boone.
Well, just what it was. I don't like to blow me on trumpet, but there's no fine ability to tidbit his tone. So I happy to be for a grubby little room in the falling and backstreet tunnels. You know, what's the reason someone to go and pay the rent of the agent of Lime Street? I remember now. There were two vulgar redheads in there last time. Neither of us is a vulgar, it's not a me. Think again, Peppino.
I'm curious, has it been updated now? No, it hasn't.
Why didn't you bring up this before?
It all got old already. And let's talk about a person like this bit peddlers was good time. You update your testimony to include this most surprising revolution, Mr. Boone. If I must.
The leaseholder Scotland Yard has been looking for since the body was discovered. Has been here under our noses all along. No? Is this the same guy? Wait. I think it might be. He's got the same yellow, like, necktie. It just really run down. No way. Wait, what? Wait, is this... Wait,
Objection!
Okay, maybe I'm thinking a bit too hard. But I think this guy is the deli that we're looking for, or whatever. The husband that we're looking for. Does the wife have, like, memory loss or something?
Objection!
Am I supposed to object here, or am I supposed to press here, actually? Hold on. I'll press and see what happens. So, You live in that room presumably, do you?
No, I don't live there. What do you think? There's no bed, is there? Just a desk.
Then, why would you want to rent it?
Well, I don't think I should have to say, really.
Then how about the notice board in there?
Has his name even updated? It hasn't. I get the feeling that Hugh Boone is still a fake name for him, but...
Which was covered from top to bottom in confidential documents only the police should have access to.
Oh, no, the board's not mine. The inspector must have brought it along. So only the other bits and bobs that belong to me, the desk and the chair, that.
People don't generally carry enormous notice boards around with them. The real question is, why was Inspector Gregson killed there, in your room?
Well, obviously, I've not the faintest idea. I mean, it's causing me no end of bother, to be honest.
It seems to me that Mr. Gossip, sorry, Mr. Boone, would rather as little known about his room as possible for some reason.
Yes, it does come across that way. And more importantly, knowing that the scene of the crime is actually his room completely changes things. In particular, there's one part of his testimony that's really bothering me. That's how I'm finally going to undo this man. Undo? Control Z. Oh, wait.
Objection!
Oh, okay, there we go. If you have no kinfolk, as you put it, then explain why that among the sparse furnishings, we found this photograph in the room.
Oh!
I presume that you've been renting the room, that this photograph belongs to you, does it not?
Oh, well...
Mr. Boone, drop the pretense and tell the court exactly who you really are.
Oh, I don't know what you mean. I'm a peddler, I keep telling you so. You really don't need to bother with me. Please, just leave it alone.
As the man says, among, yes, Mr. Bean, leave it alone. Whatever the truth is about this man's life, it has no bearing on this case. Because it's simply not possible that he impersonated Inspector Gregson.
How can you be so sure?
Just look at the man. No amount of disguise could ever hide those unmissable features.
Objection!
But what if we were to look at this the other way around? He's currently disguised, yeah.
Yes, counsel, what do you mean?
Well, there's no denying that Mr. Boone's lip is very prominent indeed, but consider the possibility that his prominent lip is itself as part of an elaborate disguise. And hiding that prominent feature, in other words, is revealing his true face. Would make an utterly impenetrable disguise. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Hugh Boone?
Oh! Oh!
I already know who this guy is.
Good witness! Are you still hiding the truth from this court?
If that's a disguise, then underneath it, his true identity must be.
Yes, that's right. There's really only one person you could really be. Beneath the Mask, Persona 5 soundtrack. Beneath the Mask, Super Smash Bros. Soundtrack, arranged by Ace, Tomori Kuro, and Chico. My lord! His entire soundtrack, yes he is. He's a song. The defense believes it can reveal Mr. Boone's true identity to the court.
No, please, no!
I'm guessing the accent's also a disguise, so I'm going to drop it once we change it.
Very well, counsel. What is the true identity of this peddler? It simply goes by the name of Gossip on the street. Take that!
Your real name is actually Mr. Vigil, isn't it? Mr. Dally Vigil. Is it Daily or Dally?
Yeah, I don't recall that name, counsel. Who is this Mr. Vigil?
It's a name I encountered yesterday, my lord. It has to do with a certain client of Mr. Herlock Sholmes. A young gentlewoman came to the detective, asking for him to locate her missing husband. The woman in this photograph, in fact, is Mrs. Vigil.
What?
From what I understand, you haven't returned home since the night before the inspector was found dead. But of course, on that night, you were being held captive by the two red-headed league men.
And last night, you were put up by the prosecution service in preparation for testifying in this trial. It was been led to believe that you, Miss Venus, and Mr. Sandwich were all homeless. Being important witnesses in this case, we need to know where we could find you, of course.
And that explains why you've not only been unable to return home, but also unable to contact your wife. Who's been beside herself with worry, waiting for you at the vigil residence.
No, now you just hold on a minute. I don't have the first idea.
What I'm talking about, really. It's a simple enough matter to confirm my suspicions. All we have to do is pull off that disguise.
No, please! Bailiff, bring soap, a sponge, a washball, and a washball at once. Mr. DeRosso and Mr. DeRossi, you will restrain the witness.
Who are you, my lord?
See, my lord.
Why them? Holy shit.
Get off, please! Don't!
How does that work? They had a wash bowl and a bunch of gel to gel his hair into place.
Well, we are now seeing your true features, I presume.
Lift your head, sir, so the court can see your face.
It would appear that the defense's counsel's assertion was entirely correct. This has all been a very elaborate deception. So, witness, tell the court. Have you seen this man before?
I don't believe it, but...
See? There is no question. This is the inspector we saw in the park. Extraordinary!
I managed to guess it was him in disguise basically immediately. The hair looking similar in the photograph as him. Interesting you talked about the hair, because you know what I realized? I not immediately, but I looked at this photo and I'm like, wait, this head, this necktie looks identical. It's just tied in a different fashion in disguise. On the day of the Red-Headed League enrollment, the man claiming to be Inspector Gregson, who appeared before Mr. DeRosso and Mr. DeRossi in the park,
was you disguised as the inspector, or rather, it was you posing as the inspector in no disguise at all.
Mr. Vigil was formerly employed as the chief warder at Barclay Prison.
The chief warder? Then your career had promised. Why, you would quite possibly have become a future governor of the prison. What on earth have you been doing peddling little tattletales on Fraser Street?
Well, it's been 10 years since Mr. Vigil worked at the prison.
10 years. I'm really dreadfully sorry about all this.
I really like how his, like, I think, yeah, the way he speaks changes completely.
Yes, it's true. I am Dally Vigil. And you were the chief warder at Barclay Prison 10 years ago?
So where did Mr. Hugh Boone come from?
Boone is the other me. It's a name I invented.
Well, evidently there is a great deal under the surface here.
I'll explain everything. I'll tell you just how wretched my life has become.
New music.
As you say, it was 10 years ago now that my employment at Barclay's chief warder came to an end. Having left the prison service, I searched for some new occupation by which to earn a wage. But times were hard in London, and I found no suitable engagements at all. In desperation one day, I turned my hand at selling wares on Fresno Street.
But your wife appears to know nothing of this. She still maintains that you are the chief warder of Barclay Prison.
I was utterly determined that my wife should not know of my failings, which is why I've never told her. I opened an account in the bank under the name of Hugh Boone, and I rented the cheapest room I could find on Fresno Street.
The scene of the very crime we're investigating.
Yes, that's right. A place from which I could emerge every morning at 8 as a squalid peddler, and transform myself back every evening at 5 to a well-dressed man about town before returning home. That quickly became my daily routine. I was puzzled by the lack of furniture in the room, but that explains it.
But why on earth didn't you just tell us this in the first place?
I have a wife, sir, and 2 sons, and without wishing to sound self-conceited, they regard me with some pride. I couldn't bring myself to disappoint them.
So instead, you decided to conceal your occupation from them?
Yes. I've made such a terrible mess of everything.
Still, one thing doesn't add up. No matter how many titbits.
Titbits? Wasn't it tidbits? Isn't it meant to be spelled with a D?
Of information you could sell to passing gentlemen, even at 6 pence apiece. You couldn't hope to match the salary you must have commanded as chief warder at the prison.
Very true. To have kept your family in comfort despite 10 years of somewhat misbegotten employment.
That was all thanks to Inspector Gregson.
What? Inspector Gregson? What on earth?
It was some years after I had rented Boone and become my other life as a street seller. He, the inspector that is, recognized me one day.
Do you mean to say the victim was an acquaintance of yours?
I knew him from my time working at the prison.
Gregson!
When he saw what I'd become, he was deeply troubled for me and my family. And from that day forward, he visited me on Fresno Street with increasing regularity. Then one day, he asked me if I would carry out a secret assignment for him.
A secret? What was it?
I was to impersonate the inspector.
His eyes look so dead.
What? Impersonate?
Apparently titbit is the preferred spelling out of North America. Interesting.
We always met in that little room, so the inspector could brief me.
Visit Orkzies tomorrow and take a statement from the proprietors.
Oh, visit all.
Oh wait, hang on. Wait, no. I need to read that again. I need to. Hold on.
Visit Orkzies tomorrow and take a statement from the proprietress.
Oh my god. I've been so out of the Gregson voice for so long. It feels so strange to actually read it. Anyway.
It was always something along those lines. Surveillance work, interviewing people. On those occasions, he would lend me his identification so people who would believe who I was. My instructions were to make an impression, to let people know that Inspector Gregson had been at work. And for those services, he compensated me financially.
A Scotland Yard inspector willingly relinquishes identification to you into your care with intent to deceive. That, as I'm sure I need not point out, is a very serious criminal offense.
But why? What was the point of you impersonating him? I truthfully do not know. All I can say is that the inspector warned me on numerous occasions.
Now remember, Vigil, I need your solemn word. You don't blab about this to anyone, alright? Ever. Even if, well, if I end up on a ground guard.
Interesting.
In time, he started to bring papers with him to the room as well. It became something of a second office for him.
So, in fact, the person who declared himself to be Inspector Gregson at the park on Lime Street was really...
Yes, it was me, acting on the inspector's orders. As usual, I removed my boon disguise, and then went as instructed to the park armed with the inspector's identification book. It never occurred to me that the bruise on my neck might give me away.
Well, it would seem this confession completely destroys the defense's case. Oh, that's true.
Explain yourself, Prosecutor Sorgi.
My learned friend's assertion was as follows. The victim was killed at another location on the day before his corpse was discovered. At the hands of these two red-headed legal men when they imprisoned the inspector. But no, that can't be. After all, it wasn't the inspector who went to the park today, it was me.
Oh goodness. Finally, we have clarity. We had nothing to do with the inspector. And mercy, monsieur, there are a lot of ends for proving it.
Ora! Ora!
Ora. I don't watch JoJo. I can't make that reference.
Indeed, it would appear to have we have reached a de facto conclusion of sorts. These witnesses had no involvement in the murder of the victim. As proven, somewhat ironically, by the defense. I hereby call an end to the cross-examination.
Where are we going from
Hold
here?
it!
Customer?
Pardon me, my lord, but with your permission, I would like to pose one further question to the witness.
Kazuma?
What question, counsel?
It concerns the events of 10 years ago. I believe you would have been present at a very significant execution that was carried out at the time. 10 years ago.
The execution of the professor. Genshin Asogi.
I want to know exactly what your involvement was.
Oh. Answer me, man.
One moment, counsel. Is it related to the current case?
Naturally. It is the prosecution's belief that this case and the events of 10 years ago are inextricably linked.
Does the defense concur, counsel?
Customer, you're not yourself. You're not as calm and collected as usual. He really isn't. We're pointing out the truth, and I know it's not really, it's not exactly helping our case at the moment, but every single time we point out the truth, it feels like Kazuma is genuinely shocked. He doesn't know as much as we do. It's a weird case where it actually feels like we're ahead of Kazuma. I think he knows what he's doing, but not all of this is necessarily to his plan or anything, you know? It's weird because it feels like... It almost feels like the student overtakes the teacher moment, you know? But he's now the opposition. I know, this is so... It's so cool, actually.
Poor Kazuma-san. No wonder he's acting this way. Mr. Fizzle.
Can't say I feel so.
forget about deceiving these kids. I don't know why I use my Gregson voice for that.
Mr. Vigil's memories of what happened 10 years ago. Would tell the tale of Genshin Asogi's last moments. His own father.
I know, I don't understand that, but even so. Prosecutor Asogi. Do you genuinely believe that this question requires an answer in order to learn the truth behind Inspector Gregson's death? I need you to trust me. Please. Very well. Then the defense has no objection. I see! In that case, you will answer the question, witness.
The truth is, I remember very little of that time. You've forgotten! I'm sorry to say, yes. As I said, I resigned from my role at the prison 10 years ago. But for some peculiar reason, my memory of the events leading up to that moment is extremely hazy. Does that not strike you as strange, Mr. Naruhodo?
Sorry?
Well, 10 years is a long time, but to have forgotten the reason why he left such an important job.
Yes, you're right. And not only that, Mr. Vigil's claim contradicts what we already know.
The human spirit is a fragile thing. It's broken all too easily, which is why we have a tendency to wrap it up for protection. Sorry, the human spirit. I'm afraid I don't understand what you mean.
This is a case of I feel like it's a localization thing. This would be fucking cool, but it would make more sense in actual, like, it's not even a localization thing, actually. I'm pretty sure when they say the human spirit in this game, they're using the word kokoro, which means it's like heart, but it also means like spirit. It's like, it's a very Japanese specific concept, I think. And that'd be like, right here, there's two, the context is contradicting itself, right? Using the word kokoro, I'm just assuming that this is the word kokoro, right? Yes, the British person would have no idea what he's talking about, because the concept isn't exactly super. It's not easy to translate into English, but at the same time, if they're speaking in English in Great Britain, they wouldn't be using the word kokoro. They'd have to use some sort of alternative. Sorry. I'm just assuming that's what the original Japanese dialogue said. I could be wrong, but, you know.
When we experience pain and suffering that we feel unable to bear, that's called finishing Xenosaga 3 for the first time and seeing May tweet about it. We block it out, obliterate it from our memories, just like how May deleted those tweets. Seal it away. But it never truly leaves us. If the seal is broken, the memories resurface. And when they do, that fragile spirit may be finally crushed. But I really don't. Kazuma-sama. But if it must be crushed, then so be it, because the truth will not stay buried. It's coming out, one way or another.
Right, now I understand. It's clear what his intentions are. He means to expose the truth, at any cost. Perhaps if I pointed out the contradiction in what Mr. Vigil claimed earlier, it might cause some crucial memories to return to him. But should I? Should I present the evidence or not? I mean, where does this case go if I don't? This feels like a very arbitrary choice. I have no idea how this is going to go, but this is a court of law, and I have a duty to pursue the truth. Mr. Vigil, I'd like you to look at this. Evidence that clearly contradicts your version of events.
Take that!
Just a few moments ago, you made the following statement. I resigned from my role at the prison 10 years ago.
Ah, well, yes.
In other words, you claim to have left the post of chief of your own volition.
Well, yes, of course. Why?
Tell me, do you remember seeing this document before?
No, I don't.
This is a dismissal notice ordering the immediate termination of a prison staff member's employment. A dismissal notice! And the name on the notice is yours, Mr. Vigil. It's a bad time to mention I quite like what Cosmo said about blocking memories.
Well, what? It's mine? So you didn't resign from the prison service at all? For some reason, you were dismissed as chief warder from Barclay. No, there's been some mistake. I'm sure. I'm sure I tendered my registration. This dismissal notice is nonsense. Isn't it?
This is really creepy music, what the fuck? I wouldn't expect this sort of music out of an Ace Attorney game.
If you're forcibly dismissed, there must have been some good reason. Clearly, you did something. Mr. Vigil, it's time to break the seal and have you remember. According to the few remaining records, the final execution that you supervised was on 17th of June, 10 years ago, and on that day, something very serious took place at Barclay Prison. The 17th of June.
Was that the professor's execution?
Professor. As you were the chief warder at the time, it stands to reason that you would have been present throughout the proceedings. It does sound familiar. And yet, that execution never took place.
The convict, who's saying this?
The convict rose from his grave. The convict came back to life.
In the cemetery in the middle of the night, there was a witness.
However, the witness claims that a moment after he saw the convict clambering out of his grave. A gunshot rang out from over his shoulder, and the bullet pierced the professor's chest, killing him instantly. Those may have been the professor's actual last moments. Yes. Seeing as you were in charge of overseeing executions at the time, you must know the truth about what really happened. It's in your head, somewhere deep down.
He looks so fucking shocked.
Well, Chief Warder Dally Vigil, I know there are memories from your head that can explain what happened on the 17th of June 17 years ago. Now it's time for you to drag them up. Mr. Vigil? Yes, the whole prison. It was complete chaos. The prisoner escaped. He was killed in the cemetery. The shocking news ripped through Barclay like a hurricane.
Like a whirlwind? Trails into Reverie soundtrack. That is the only song title I know from that soundtrack, and I don't even know the song. I've never heard of it. Order! Order!
Do you mean to say, Mr. Vigil?
Like a wind blows hard in December. Oh shit. Wait. Oh no. Fuck. I didn't mean to. No!
Do you mean to say, Mr. Vigil, that your memories of the time have returned?
My head, it's like some floodgates have been opened. The images, the screens. Oh my goodness. The papers. were reports, articles, about a man had seen a ghost.
Yes, Enoch Drebber.
But surely those reports were exaggerated.
There were traces at the scene.
Traces of what? Traces of D? Trail Suazua?
In Lowgate Cemetery, at plot number 139. Blood, lots of blood. That's where the man was buried, of course. Obviously, something terrible had happened there.
The depths of conspiracy and depravity from which the tale is emerging are quite staggering.
I'm guessing, stop that. I'm guessing, actually, now that I think about it. Case 5 is probably going after whoever murdered the professor. The one who shot that gun. I'm going to guess that's exactly what Case 5 is going to be about. I don't know how they're going to dig it up. It could be another Von Karma situation. I don't know.
I've reviewed the police records from that time extensively. A thorough investigation was conducted by Scotland Yard to ascertain how the convict managed to escape in the first place. And the conclusion reached by the investigating team was that a member of the prison staff must have been involved.
Are you suggesting that a prison warder betted the man's bid for freedom?
Yes, and I was suspected of doing it, of using that mass murderer's execution as a way to help him escape.
You did what?
I remember now. The horror of it all was coming back to me. One evening, a few days after the execution, some detectives came to the prison. I was called to the guy.
Can you stop spinning? Holy shit. This is making me dizzy. Give me a moment. I need to get water before I fucking get too dizzy. I'll let you guys watch him spin while I get the water though, so one moment. Anyone dizzy yet? Hello, I'm back. Sorry about that bit of a break, but we're back. Okay, yeah, I really need to turn on the aircon in the room. Holy shit. It's It actually rained today. Funnily enough, but I don't think it's cooled down at all. Yeah, it's like humid. It's really humid. It's not great. Anyway,
I was called to the governor's office at the top of the watchtower.
Why does one bailiff have a mustache? And why does the other one not have a mustache? And why do they look identical to the two bailiffs outside the courtroom? What did I give this guy's voice again?
I'm sorry, Daily, but this is serious business. But can I have you know?
Right, that's right.
A chief warder, you were responsible for overseeing the execution of her, eh? Well, it seems like the fellas at Scotland Yard want to have a few wee words with you about it. You better pack your things, laddie. You're to attend in person.
Oh, it's the Scotland Yard people.
As soon as he told me that, my mind just went completely blank. And the next thing I knew, the professor, the most hated killer in our country's history. And I let him escape. I'm finished. My life is over.
Oh, what the holy shit. Oh my god. Why suddenly paused at an interesting time?
Hurrah! Bailiff, fetch your doctors once! Go to the job for the day with immediate effect.
Damn. Cosmo extending the
So,
trial.
With Mr. Vigil's collapse, proceedings came to an abrupt end for the day.
For two things. One, Cosmo's fucking absolutely, he's like, oh, we're gonna extend this trial by a day just by asking someone. Wow, I really stopped right before to be continued, didn't I? Bad timing. I just really needed water. The second thing I was gonna say is, wow, I didn't realize that the text is exactly timed to appear with the voice line. Look, listen.
Once again overshadowed by the legacy of that notorious killer, appearing like a cursed ghost ship on a foggy ocean.
Yeah, it's timed perfectly with the voiceover. What the fuck? I've never seen a game do that before. Most of the time, the subtitles just show the entire line before they finish saying it. Wow. That's a small detail I don't think most people would even think about. That's actually really cool. What the fuck? That's so much extra effort. I guess Ace Attorney dialogue usually is kind of timed in a particular way, but like, did other Ace Attorney games do this on the 3DS? Did we have much voice stuff outside of the anime cutscenes?
Lord Van Zeeks,
Van.
Mr. Vigil, Kazuma, and Gregson. All of them bound by invisible chains anchored to the same wreckage in the murky depths of the past.
Yeah, holy shit. Now that I'm noticing that the dialogue is like timed to appear on screen exactly at the same time as they say in the voiceover, I'm just like, what the fuck? That is so surreal. I've never seen any other game do that. Off the top of my head, no. Not a single one. Holy shit.
But the miraculous light that had been trying to cut through the gloom and shine on those tragic events was playing on the edges of the truth at last.
I feel like we've been playing around the truth, on the edges of the truth, for a few cases now. Am I the only one that's really impressed by that? That's such a weird detail. Wonder who voices Naruhodo. I guess you could look it up. Investigation part 2. Let's go. Sholmes's suite. I still can't quite believe just what happened. What just happened?
I know. I inquired with the bailiff after the court session was adjourned, and seems Mr. Vigil was taken to hospital to recover.
Right. 10 years ago now, Mr. Vigil attempted to commit suicide by jumping out of the window of the prison governor's office. But ever since then, he's completely blocked the memory of those events from his mind. Nobody knew his secret, not his family, not even the man himself. But I forced it out into the open. Was it wrong of me to do that? Did I overstep the mark, I wonder?
Bruno!
Hi, Iris. Oh, Iris.
You're miles away. You're miles Edgeworth away. Anyway, I brewed a fresh pot of soothing tea for you.
Wait, what did you say? Miles Edgeworth? What's that?
Oh, I don't know. Just kinda slipped out.
I mean, no, seriously. Who? What? What's Miles Edgeworth?
Oh, just kinda slipped out. Anyway.
Oh, thank you. Mark Ota. Ota? Actually, there's only a credited role, so he must be a new voice actor in the scene. That's cool. That's actually really cool. Ota, AI the Somnium Files. Isn't Ota's voice actor's name Mark as well? Or was it? No. The one that voices Ota isn't it Zach Aguilar? If I'm not mistaken. I might be mistaken on that, but anyway.
You and Susie have had an exhausting day so far, haven't you?
Yeah, Zach Aguilar, right?
Oh. Thank you, Iris. How thoughtful of you.
Ota my behated. Do you happen to know where Mr. Sholmes is? When we came out of the courtroom back into the defendant's antechamber, he disappeared.
Oh, no, I don't know. He just suddenly sprang to his feet and left. All he said was, I must leave.
I must leave.
I wonder if he's pursuing the mystery of Inspector Gregson's death.
I think I've got Greg Chun as Sholmes. Who voices Sholmes? I'm curious how many of these voice actors are new, actually.
Oh, you know what Hurley's always saying, don't you? There are mysteries on this world that should perhaps never be solved. For the construction of a solution comes only at the expense of the destruction of something else.
Uh-huh. I'm also wondering if, Bradley Clarkson, okay. I'm also wondering if, how's the Baskervilles? How are the Baskervilles gonna tie into all this? Because I'm assuming... Wait. Hound of the Baskervilles. Could that be referring to the dog that was used to murder? And is that why they never published the story? Because it was related to the professor. Okay. No, maybe that is it. I know, it could be something else, but I'm just trying to think. How could the Hound of the Baskervilles tie into the professor case? Because obviously everything's tying into this whole international scandal thing that happened, right? Von Zix's Einstein from Final Fantasy XIV. I don't know what that means, but good to know. A lot of these voice actors seem to be new. Yeah, typically I find if a game has like a new voice actor, I still don't know what that means. Everything Final Fantasy XIV is completely white noise to me at the moment. And I appreciate that because it means if I see a spoiler, I don't have to worry about it, you know? Did I read that as Einstein? Yeah, I did read that as Einstein. Estinian, I'm guessing. Anyway, yeah, sorry, I got lost in thought there. All alone. Estinian. Yeah, I got it right. I got it right in the end. What does that mean?
He knows very well that when you open someone else's old wounds, you often open your own too. But he just can't take his own advice and leave well alone. Solving mysteries is too important to him.
That's so true.
And that's what I like about early, after all.
I like Einstein more. I suppose that's a lot of a great detective in some ways.
So then, let's have some tea, and then I'll give you a hand with my gun!
Oh, do you have time, Iris?
Yes. I finished this month's manuscript at last, with barely a day to spare before the deadline. Oh, I'm so looking forward to it. A brand new story to read in the Ventures Sherlock Holmes. You know, I was at Hurley's violin in the days before. I always hide Hurley's violin in the days before the deadline.
You do? Poor Mr. Sholmes.
I'm sure that's why. Very wise, Iris. How sensible of you. Now then, my dear fellows, let's make a plan of action before we continue our investigation.
This morning's trial.
So how did it go in court this morning?
Well, we still don't know the truth about what really happened, but one thing's increasingly clear. Lord Von Zieks definitely didn't do it.
Oh, goody. Yes, that's right. We managed to uncover 7 new facts as well. Oh, really?
And there was another development too. Kazuma.
Yes, it's quite clear now. But Kazuma-sama's not himself. The way he's acting, it's almost as if he's possessed.
I know. I mean, at the end of the proceedings earlier, he was like a bloodhound, the way he was chasing Mr. Vigil's forgotten past. Like the Hound of the Baskervilles we were just musing over. Iris's voice actor's Evan in Ni no Kuni 2. Wow! She went... I'm guessing, yeah, she, right? She went from voicing in a bad game to peak fiction. That's great. I don't like Ni no Kuni 2. It's like the one, like if I had to name games I absolutely hate, there's probably only 4, maybe now. No, 3 of them. Yeah. Ni no Kuni 2, Metroid Samus Returns, and Cold Steel 3 now. Yeah, it's not worth it. It's worth it for the soundtrack. I don't think the game's actually good at all. I remember the final boss of Ni no Kuni 2 took me like, oh god, was it like an hour? I think. I was sitting there fighting it for like an hour because I was underleveled and I couldn't do enough damage to it for it to die quick enough. But it also couldn't hit me. Like, the game is really fucking boring. The first is fucking fantastic. Please play the first game. I love the first game. The second game fucking sucks. I hate the second game. It really, really fucking sucks. Anyway, what's going on in his head, I wonder? I really need to sit down with Kazuma and try to understand what he's going through. If Gregson was really murdered the day before his body was discovered, Lord Von Zieks has to be innocent, you see.
What? The day before? Well, that should be easy enough to work out. Just by examining the corpse, surely. Yes, you would expect so, but curiously, no time of death was included in the autopsy report.
One thing I remember about 2 is one of the main characters in President. Honestly, same. I think that is such a raw isekai plotline, but unfortunately the game is just an isekai. A really bad one at that. Well, actually, I wouldn't say it's a bad isekai. Like, the story is fine. It's simple enough to be charming, but it's not like anything mind-blowing. It just kind of exists. To the fact that I don't remember half of the cast. 3/4 of the cast. I'm pretty sure there's more than 4 characters. Is there more than 4? Are there more than 4 characters? I only remember Evan and the President. What was his name? Was it Roland? Fuck, I don't remember Ni no Kuni 2 at all. That's another reason I hate the game. It's fucking unmemorable. The girl and her father. That means fucking nothing to me. Who? Anyway, I should stop getting off on tangents about random JRPGs that CM will never play, because when he comes to watch this VOD, he will not be very pleased, I think.
That is curious.
There's still unanswered questions about Lord Von Zieks, though, aren't there?
Do you mean?
I mean, what was he doing there on Fresno Street that day in the first place?
Well, according to the men's...
You by trailing off on me. I'm not even gonna respond to that curb.
He said he was investigating the Inspector Gregson, didn't he?
And it turns out that little room was actually the inspector's secret office.
Oh, that sounds like it has all the makings of a wonderfully devilish plot.
You know your friend just fucking died, and you're making jokes about it. Okay, look, I understand. This is the only thing that's really bugging me about this case. I understand that it is very much in line with the comedy of this game, but you'd think that these characters would be a little more distraught about Gregson dying. Like, it's fucking Gregson. Especially with how much of a sucker he was to Iris. Like, Iris is like not batting an eye. It's only been 2 days. Anyway, so that's the only thing that's really bugging me. Anime can't live without comedy. Well, that's a shame because most anime comedy just doesn't hit for me. Honestly, most comedy doesn't hit for me in general. But I mean, that's a lie. That's a fucking lie. Anime, I don't know. I've tried comedy anime, but there aren't that many that really severely get me to laugh. But the ones that do are really fucking good. You know, like in my top 10 of all time, you know. Saiki Kuso, I fucking love that show. That's all I can think of, actually. I think that's the only comedy anime that I've really hit it off with. Anyway, but why was the notice board there covering all those particular papers? Papers about the cases with a link to the Reaper. I'm starting to get a bad feeling about this.
Oh dear, that sounds more like something horribly devilish. We must start by looking into Inspector Gregson's movements as of late.
Comedy can be great, but it has to be done right for me. I have a pet peeve if something relies on comedy too much. Yeah, I feel that. I don't think there's that many, like, shows that really get me laughing out loud. Games do it all the time, clearly, based on my streams. But when it comes to, like, watching something, I don't react that much. I just gotta watch. I don't know. Maybe less so these days. I think streaming has gotten me to actually be more talkative to myself when I play a game. And just in general, I think it's helped with some of my communication skills, honestly. Because when I'm streaming, I know I'm going off a tangent here, but like when I'm streaming, I'm finding I have to be a bit more clear about what I say. Otherwise it gets misinterpreted and I get clowned on it for it. But no, it helps to have a bit more clarity. I think it's helped a lot when I'm talking to other people, just in general. Because I really think through what I'm saying before I say it now, you know? Most of the time. Sometimes I'm still fucking dumb. A lot of the time. Okay, fine. Anyway. I never imagined I might have to be investigating Inspector's movements.
Well, according to the entry in his diary, he was carrying out an incognito investigation of the Red-Headed League the day before his death. Oh, you mean he was doing the same as Early?
Imagine, death by Adol. Well, Mr. Shonks was trying to apply, whereas the inspector was supposed to be investigating.
I do wish it had been the other way around.
Anyway, as it turns out, the inspector who went to investigate the Red-Headed League that day wasn't actually Gregson at all. It was Mr. Vigil, in possession of Gregson's identification.
You know what that sounds like to me? Establishing an alibi. Oh my. Yes, you're absolutely right, Iris.
But why would Gregson need an alibi?
It would appear that the inspector has something to do here that he wished to keep secret. I don't believe it. I always thought he was just a harmless lover of fish and chips.
We'll say this game has made me laugh a few times with much more than the majority of games. I cannot smile with someone that's like Shop. Yeah, no, this game's comedy is so good. But perhaps they were seasoned with something with a little more potent than salt of vinegar.
I think perhaps we should try and move away from food allergies.
Well, anyway, if Lord Von Ziegs felt the need to investigate Gregson's...
Yes, I agree. We must find out what he knows.
And Mr. Vigil's condition.
Vigil, you say? Isn't that the name of the lady who came to visit early yesterday? That's right. To ask Mr. Shantz if he would help her to find her missing husband.
Only Mr. Shantz would have completely passed the buck to us. Actually, didn't you say that Mr. Vigil had been taken to hospital? Do you know which one? Bartholomew.
Ah, it's St. Sinas.
Sorry, Bartholomew was the... What was Bartholomew? I'm starting to wonder if all the other hospitals in London have closed down.
But that's amazing, Runa. You found the lady's husband already.
Well, I suppose I have, by accident.
And 10 years ago, while Mr. Vigil was the chief warder at the prison, you were responsible for overseeing the professor's incarceration. No!
So when the convict escaped, he was held responsible and immediately dismissed.
Oh, sometimes I really don't want to grow up.
There's more. For 10 years after that, while he's ostensibly working as a peddler, he also had another secret job. He was paid by Gregson to be his stand-in, to impersonate the inspector.
To impersonate Gregsy, but why?
I have absolutely no idea.
Oh, Ginny was right. I'm starting to think all adults are up to no good now. Including you, Runa.
I haven't paid anyone to impersonate me.
That means he has ties to the professor and to Inspector Gregson, though. I do think we ought to pay a visit to Mr. Vigil, don't you?
Back to St. Sinas, then. Alright.
Well, I'm off. I think it's clear what we need to do, isn't it? Let us investigate, my dear fellows.
My dear fellows!
Oh, Iris, even more enthusiastic than usual today. If anyone has anything to hide, my special Wilson shooting iron will set them straight.
That water pistol? I needed the screenshot.
It's stuff full of a piping hot extra special blend of mine. I'm quite sure it'll be very effective.
I better be careful not to hide anything. Well, it feels a little strange that Mr. Shams is nowhere to be seen, but still. He wanted to taste of those fish and chips. Let's go and see what we can find out.
Yes.
First off, prison. I need to do my Von Ziegs voice today because I haven't done it. Locale prison. It's the locale.
Lord Von Ziegs is reading. Look. He doesn't seem like he wants visitors, does he?
But he must have noticed that we're here, surely. What do you Nipponese want? That's no way to greet the lawyers trying his hardest to prove your innocence, is it? Perhaps not. Hmm? I apologize. So what can I do for you, Mr. Naruhodo? I'm trying to like absolutely butcher the pronunciation of his name, but I can't do it. Like, Mr. Naruhodo.
Lord Von Ziegs. Speaking earnestly, who the fuck will have died in London for the first time in a month tomorrow?
This does feel very, very strange. Mr. Boruto. I must say, I was impressed. Oh, well, thank you. Not by you, by your fellow Nipponese, your prosecutor friend. Oh, I see, yes. It's sardonic, don't you think?
For a man such as me, so loathing of the
I went to say Japanese. I went to then say Napoli for some reason. None of the above.
so loathing of the Nipponese to be entirely at the mercy of you too. I suppose it's a retribution for having played the part of the Reaper all these years.
Played the part. Is that going to be one of the converse? Or is identity? Here we go. You once told me that you gladly allowed people to believe you were the Reaper because it helped reduce the amount of serious crime that took place in London.
If keeping quiet and playing the part benefits the cause, a cause I myself am committed to pursuing, then why would I choose to say anything?
But the henchman of a criminal killed by the Reaper attacked you only the other day. And that was just the most recent of many attempts on your life, wasn't it? Someone is clearly profiting from your silence about all this. Someone is using you!
Believe me, ever since the Reaper first appeared, I've been doing my utmost to expose him, or rather, expose the organization. Ah, it's a whole organization? Does it have 13 people? Is that why you sound like Xemnas? It's inconceivable that all those accidents were orchestrated by one man. No, the Reaper always appears to have a very accurate information about the accused in each case, which can only mean that somebody at Scotland Yard is involved.
Someone else. You can't mean.
It's taken me many years, but I finally identified the central figure in this Reaper organization. Tobias Gregson.
No! No!
Gregson, the Reaper? I mean, his name did pop up at the end of the game, so I wonder. So, the reason you were investigating Inspector Gregson is because you intended to expose him as the Reaper.
As I said, the Reaper of the Bailey is no single person.
Well, we know that Genshin Asogi did die, but I almost wonder if this is some way of, like... If this is an intentional sort of thing going on, right? By an organization. I wonder if it's some sort of the motive is some sort of, like, continuation of the legacy of the Professor. Because they've said before that, in a weird way, the people that the Professor killed actually benefited society. Because they weren't the greatest people, you know? They've mentioned that, and I wonder if there's any link there. Because it's remarkably similar.
It's a highly secret organization with close ties to Scotland Yard. But there's no doubt that Gregson was a key member of that organization.
It's funny to me that only he shares... That he shares a VA with one of my... To me and only me, that he shares a VA with one of my favorite Final Fantasy XIV characters. Right. Yeah, I can see that. I know how that feels. I think there's a few other characters I've been like that.
I don't believe it. Are you saying that Grexy, that he was behind all of those criminals meeting there?
Gregson didn't do the dirty work himself.
Oh.
He was the tactician. His job was to covertly investigate the marks and plot their assassinations. In order to do that without arousing suspicions, he regularly needed a firm alibi. Which is why Mr. Vigil came in, posing as the inspector.
I wonder how accurate this is, considering that Gregson kept Gina around him because of the Reaper, right? And because of that, if he was involved, I get the feeling that keeping Gina around and close and obviously taking her to Paris would be getting her away from the Reaper's clutches, right? Huh. Maybe he kept her around him so no one else in the organization would mistakenly target her. That's one possible thing to think about. I don't know. This is really interesting.
Vigil knows nothing of the Reaper, but the room he rents on Fresno Street was almost certainly the headquarters of the operation. Gregson would have met the assassin there for briefings.
So we didn't actually know who carried out the killings then.
Actually, I do have a name.
You what?
Well, if you can name the man, you have the true identity of the Reaper ready then. Or, if I can name the woman.
Oh.
She's a young woman by the name of Assassin.
I hate this. I fucking hate this name. Why? Why is it a pun like that? Assassin, yeah. What? I feel like we've heard this name as well before. At least the surname Shin. Wait, what? Shin? Was it? Yeah, it was her, wasn't it? Yeah, that's what I thought. It's a very subtle pun no one will ever pick up. I didn't pick it up until now. Miss Asa Shin, the true name of a terrifying killer I know only too well. She came to Japan posing as a visiting student and murdered Dr. John H. Wilson. Then, just when it seemed that the diplomatic protection would help her escape Japan and conviction, the mysterious woman was herself murdered in a small summer beach hut. And that woman was actually the Reaper of the Bailey. I don't think they said her full name until now. No, they said Shin. Yeah. Right.
Mr. Naruhodo, this perhaps isn't the place to discuss.
No. No, of course not. We can't mention it here. The fact that she killed Dr. John H. Wilson. Because Iris doesn't know, and it's very likely that the man was her father.
Assassin, I should let father know at once.
Yes, I agree. I wonder if she was in Japan. No, that doesn't make sense. But wouldn't it be funny if she was in Japan to fucking get rid of Natsume? I highly doubt that was the case since she was there before Natsume returned, but still. Has anyone died of the Reaper since we arrived in Japan, now I think about it? McGilded was his name, right? The top hat guy from the first game, sure. But that wasn't directly as a cause of someone targeting him. I'm just trying to think. This game, I don't think anyone has. Oh wait, no. Odious Man. Which was Enoch Dra. My heart died from Gregson's death. I feel that.
Kazuma, isn't it? Kazuma Asogi. You say he's a friend of yours.
My best friend. He's the whole reason I got to come to Britain. It was all on his merits. I have nothing but respect for him.
Yes, I understand that only the very best students are selected for such opportunities, and I had a fine demonstration of how sharp he is in the proceedings earlier today. He missed nothing.
Yeah, it is very weird seeing Van Zeke say his name.
In fact, his flawless performance very much reminded me of his father.
Genshin Asogi, the professor.
It's true that the aristocracy at the time was the root of numerous grave societal problems. They were abusing their power, playing with the common man as pawns in politics, in economics, in war. In many ways, Asogi was carving out a canker from society that we British couldn't deal with ourselves.
I see.
But that's precisely why it makes no sense. Client Von Zieks was a noble and upstanding man. He wasn't corrupt. Why did that damned Nipponese have to go and take my brother's life? In spite of having once saved mine.
He saved your life. How did that happen?
See, I got into this game called Genshin Impact. I spent lots of money on it. However, I got so addicted that it cured my depression, and now I cannot smile anymore.
That makes no sense.
It was 10 years ago, on a foggy night. What was to be the professor's final strike had sent a wave of panic through the capital.
So Client Van Zix had already been killed at this point then.
Genshin and I were walking down some back streets at a late hour. Of course, at that point, I had no idea the true nature of the man at my side. All of a sudden...
Doormaker, babe, you're coming with us.
I don't know who that is. Oh my god, what the hell?
we were surrounded. All of our assailants were armed with pistols, their faces obscured by scars. Clyde was not only from noble heritage, he was a brilliant prosecutor as well. The scum of London hated the sight of him, and they had no sympathy for his younger brother either. I'd been targeted several times before already.
Yeah, it's Fonzie's, right? We got him.
I could hear them murmuring amongst themselves. I knew they were after me, but just when I thought my time had come.
We'll let them kill you. Clyde would never forgive me.
I don't know what to give for Cosmo's father. I'm like not making the joke this time, yeah.
It was a Sorky's voice, just a whisper in my ear. After that, I don't remember exactly what happened. The next thing I knew, there was silence all around. Genshin lay on the cobbled street. Blood was seeping from his left hand. He'd shielded me. Two days later, they arrested him.
I wonder if Genshin I don't feel like they're gonna do a plot twist and go like, oh, Genshin wasn't the culprit after all. He was falsely accused. I don't feel like that's what's going to happen. I feel like we're gonna learn the reasons behind his actions. More so than that. The culprit is going to be who killed Genshin Asogi, right? We're gonna learn that. I don't know.
On suspicion of being London's most notorious mass murderer ever, the Professor.
How awful for you.
All at once, I lost the brother I revered, and the foreign friend I held in such high regard.
I'm so sorry, Lord Van Ziggs.
That's the end of my miserable tale. I never thought I'd recount it to anyone.
Well, thank you for confiding in me.
The Professor, the Reaper, and Inspector Gregson. I wonder just how intimately related they all are.
I still can't quite believe that Gregson was essentially the Reaper, given assassination orders to Giselle Brett.
Mr. Naruhodo, let's go inform my father. I'm sure our government will want to hear this new information. Oh, that means I get to meet your daddy, Susie. Hooray!
Yes, alright. Let's head back to the Great Waterloo Hotel then. Alright.
Oh,
I thought it yesterday, and I think it again today. This place is so princely.
It's a wild guess, but I have a feeling you'll think the same tomorrow too.
My tears are finer fragrance than whatever they're serving in the tea room here, though. Wouldn't you say?
Ah, look who we have here. This is an unexpected pleasure.
Ah, Father! Oh, is this your daddy, Susie? How lovely!
What a charming young lady. And you are?
This is gonna be interesting.
Oh, really? So you're the author of the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, are you?
That's me, Iris Wilson, at your service, sir.
Wilson, yeah.
He's been such a wonderful friend to me over the last year, you know.
Whoa, Miss Wilson. I must say I read your work regularly and with much interest.
Iris actually lives with Mr. Sholmes, you know, Father.
Is that so? Well, perhaps that goes some way to explain the bright look in your eyes.
You wouldn't be smiling so airily if you knew just how bright she is, believe me.
Now then, young Naruhodo, it was a pleasure seeing you in action earlier. And as an invitee of the symposium, I was allowed to observe from the gallery after I twisted some arms. And I must say, it was a truly exemplary performance.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Although I'm fairly sure you omitted by Kazuma on the end there.
No, please don't miss it. You impressed me.
Really?
You'd have missed a step against Asogi, and we all know how capable he is. Really, to have matured into such a fine defense lawyer in less than a year is quite extraordinary.
It's very kind of you to say so, and really nice to hear.
What I saw in court today confirmed what I've been hoping for. The favor I mentioned yesterday, Mr. Naruhodo, I trust you haven't forgotten.
Oh, no, you did mention something, didn't you?
But first, here's something to report, Father.
Of course. Shall we take tea while we discuss matters further?
I wonder where Judge Jigoku has got to. Alright.
Father, do you know about the so-called freak of the Bailey?
I've heard rumors. Some members of the judiciary explained it all to me yesterday. Of course, when I was a visiting student here in London, the Reaper was yet to emerge.
Right. He didn't appear until after that case when the visiting students had already returned home.
Lord Van Zix was in the dock today. That was Barak, the younger brother of Client Van Zix, I believe.
That's right. And he's known throughout London as the Reaper, as you've heard. But the truth is, it wasn't him behind all of those mysterious deaths. It was somebody else.
I see. So what you're saying, there's been a professional killer at work here?
Exactly. Someone by the name of Asashin, in fact.
I beg your pardon? Did you say Asashin? Do you mean that there's a great woman who was responsible for killing my great friend?
I know a friend of yours was killed.
Professor Mikotoba. I think perhaps we shouldn't discuss this right now. Because the friend the professor is talking about is Dr. John H. Wilson. And that's not something we want Iris to find out about. Not like this, anyway.
I've just remembered something. Biscuits. This hotel has the most delicious looking biscuits.
That's rather out of the blue.
She's doing this deliberately.
I think I'll go and see if I can purchase some. I wonder, would you like to come too, Iris? Oh yes! You just try and leave me behind.
Yeah.
So that young girl is called Iris Wilson, is she?
Yes, that's right.
And she's the author of all those adventure stories starring the great detective Sholmes. But the name of the credited author isn't Iris, is it? It's Dr. John H. Wilson.
Yes, I know. That's the name of her father, you see.
Her father! Dr. John H. Wilson. I was deeply indebted to the man for all the kindness he showed me during my time in London. That's why I was keen to reciprocate and invite him to the Imperial Uber University for years ago.
But he was murdered last year by Giselle Brett. Why? Why would the hand of the Reaper stretch all the way to Japan? Iris knows nothing about that case, but it seems very likely that the victim, Dr. Wilson, was her father.
Well, I can't say that we ever spoke about his family, so I don't know if he had a daughter or not. But I think I can say with some certainty that he was never the great detective's partner.
So, it could have been another Dr. Wilson, you think?
Well, John and Wilson are both common names after all. Still, it's probably best not to mention this to the young lady until we can be sure.
Interesting. That's what we thought, yes. That's interesting.
We're back! With cinnamon biscuits.
Ooh, they smell delicious, Iris.
I think cinnamon will go very well with the tea they serve here. Don't you, Susie? Yes, I'm sure you're right, Iris.
I haven't seen Judge Jigoku for a while now, have you? Have you?
Guilty!
But they're guilty? Guilty?
No, now you mention, I haven't seen him since this morning either. I suppose since the symposium's open was postponed, he'll have gone to explore the great exhibition.
That reminded me of something you mentioned yesterday. About Judge Jigoku once having been in the dock himself.
Ah yes, it was all tied up with that accursed trial.
The closed trial of Kazuma's father.
Seishiro was trying to mitigate Genshin's guilt, so he took the stand to testify. But he got a little carried away and actually managed to break the witness stand.
Oh my.
He also said some contemptuous words about the British Empire, for which he was charged.
Oh dear. Although it's worryingly easy to imagine him doing that.
What was all right at the end? He was acquitted and we returned home to Japan together.
Thank goodness.
Ah yes, talking about Seishiro. I have a copy of the photograph we took here yesterday, please.
Ah. Is this gonna be court record evidence? How is this gonna fucking relate to the case? It certainly seems to shout, "We've arrived in Britain." How is this going to relate to the case? I'm scared. No. What is it? How is this relevant?
Never had any idea what was coming when we took that, did we?
Is it this? Is it the handkerchief that's here? Is it this case? Is it his beard? Is it this chandelier up here? Oh no. Every time anything gets added to the court record, I'm like, oh shit, this is gonna be relevant.
No. That's so true.
So, you mentioned a favor that you'd like to ask me.
Well, this fateful trial that you're fighting. One way or another, it will be over before long. And when it is, I'd like you to accompany me back to Japan.
You want me to do... What? What?
Father, what's the meaning of this?
Now, Susato, you should understand. We've seen how our courts work firsthand. Japan's judicial system is its infancy, especially when it comes to defense.
Oh, you mean...
The Supreme Court of Judicature is in desperate need of a good defense lawyer. As soon as possible. Really quite urgently, in fact.
But... Not even been in London a year yet.
I've read all of Susato's reports. I'm well aware of your extraordinary talents. And having seen you in action with my own eyes earlier today, there's no question. You, Naruhodo, are precisely the man our country needs.
So, you'd be leaving then, Renault? But then, what am I supposed to do, Father?
You came here to serve as Asogi's judicial assistant.
Oh yes, she's supposed to be Kazuma's assistant.
Our government is still in the process of deciding how best to deal with this situation.
How's this gonna develop? One of the last gates is gonna have us playing as Kazuma. I doubt it. It's such a pointless. Not necessarily. I don't see why they do a perspective change like that at this point, just for the last case. But it'd be very interesting to see where this. I'm very interested to see where this goes. Wouldn't make sense to change perspective at this point, but yeah.
You've always been chosen your own path, Susato, and I trust your judgment. In this matter also.
Father?
Please, the pair of you, don't look so downcast. It's merely a suggestion, you understand, a hope, if I'm honest, but I won't force you. All I ask is that you consider it, and come to a decision by the time this trial concludes.
Yes, alright.
You won't leave, will you, Renault?
Aww. The thought hadn't even crossed my mind. Up until now, I've just been trying to do what I believe to be Kazuma's will. But it turns out that he's still alive, so... Where does that leave me? Where does it leave you?
Well, if you'll excuse me now, I need to telegram government ministers and the Japanese police with this information about Asashi.
Of course, Father. Thank you.
I look forward to next month's installment, Miss Wilson.
Oh, good. And please, look up to Baker Street sometime, don't you? We'd love to entertain you.
I would be delighted. The best of luck for tomorrow, Naruhodo, and give my suggestion your full consideration, won't you?
Yes, I will. Going back home.
You know, Kazuma-sama has always meant a great deal to my father. I'm sure he'd love the chance to meet with him and talk to him about all of this.
Yes, no doubt. Asashin. Of course, it's all so obvious. Oh.
Asashin! Of course! Yes! It's so obvious! How could I have neglected to consider the possibility before now?
Mr. Schultz.
Early! Where have you been?
Why, I enjoyed you all for tea, of course. What an extraordinary question.
I didn't notice you at all.
No matter, no matter. Anyway, to more pressing concerns, Mr. Naruhodo.
Oh, yes?
I must dispatch a telegram to your country at once. It's a matter of such urgency.
To Japan?
Tell me, to whom can I entrust the task? Quickly now, who?
Well... My father's just now left to send a telegram to the Imperial Police Bureau of Japan himself.
I see. Well, he looked reliable enough for a bearded fellow.
I don't think what father was sports could be considered a beard, Mr. Sholmes.
There's not a moment to lose. Kindly ask your trusty unshaven father to see this sent.
I will, but what is it?
No questions at this time, please, if you will, Miss Sato. All we can do is pray that for once, my deduction is awry.
Doesn't that imply your deductions are normally correct, Mr. Sholmes, which isn't exactly...
Now then, you may be surprised to learn that I'm a very busy man. Certainly have no time to hide behind settees and eavesdrop on other people's conversation.
So that's what joining us for tea meant.
I leave the sending of this in your hands then, my dear fellows.
Wait a minute, Mr. Sholmes?
He just sort of ran off, didn't he? At quite a pace.
And left the unpaid bill for his tea behind, too. Oh, Sholmes.
I must catch up with Father at the telegraph office at once. And I'll call the cab straight away.
And there was me thinking everyone would be clamoring to pay Mr. Sholmes' bill. Wait, am I not going there? Okay, I guess we do Mr. Vigil first. God. We're back here again. Look at us. It's been 2 games.
This is the world where Mr. Vigil was brought, apparently.
Oh, to be frank, I'm a little worried about seeing him again. I thought it was going to say, to be frank, I'm worried that we're coming to the same room. Oh my god, Trails reference. Hey, RTM! What's a Trails reference?
Ah, the lawyer. Hello again. Oh, are you feeling better now, Mr. Vigil? Yes, thank you. Somewhat better.
I'm so sorry to have caused you to... I mean, it was because of me. If I hadn't exposed your secret and forced you to remember things you'd obviously tried to forget.
The prosecutor was here until a few moments ago, too. You just missed him.
Oh, Kazuma beat me to the punch.
He said the same as you. He was very apologetic. But the truth is, I brought this all upon myself.
Please, don't think like that.
Keeping it from Evie, my wife, my wife. All these years, I've carried such a sense of guilt. But that's not the worst of it. Over time, I obviously came to deceive myself as well.
Evie, yeah. Evie!
Evie?
You mean about your dismissal? Looking back now, I'm beginning to think that perhaps Inspector Gregson didn't stumble across me by accident at all. I mean, he compensated me so generously for acting as a stand-in. He was clearly concerned for my well-being and doing what he could to help.
So perhaps Gregson knew exactly what had become of Mr. Vigil all along then.
I'm sure this is just deserved for 10 years of lies and deception, but... It wasn't me that helped the Professor escape 10 years ago. It wasn't me. I swear it. I swear it's true. Oh, Mr. Vigil.
I'm sure you'd rather not even dredge up more from your past at this time, but if possible, could you tell us exactly what really happened?
I want to. I need to get this all of this off my chest. I just want someone to tell me what I should have done. Inspector Gregson was obviously engaged in a special operation of some sort. He was investigating something that even Scotland Yard couldn't know about.
Details of the Reaper's marks, yes.
It was when he had to carry out those investigations that I would take his identification and impersonate him.
You pretend to be the inspector and carry out investigations on his behalf.
Oh no, never! A commissary peddler couldn't possibly carry out a police investigation. All I would do is go to the specified location and make a little hoo-ha. Just something to leave an impression, so everyone there would think a detective called Gregson was here. So, that's what you're doing on the day prior to the incident? Yes, he asked me to make an appearance at the park on Mine Street for the Red-Headed League event. So as usual, I flashed the inspector's identification around and was very vocal about my presence.
But then you were taken prisoner by those red-headed fraudsters.
Yes.
So, you would always make a point of showing Gregson's identification and generally being loud.
Well, that's what the inspector asked me to do, yes.
Well, that's one way of becoming a legendary detective, I suppose. Not a good one, though.
And as you now know, I suffered this bruising around my neck at their hands. But the following day, they kept their word and released me.
Without returning the inspector's identification to you, however.
We had arranged to meet in Fresno Street room at 5 that day, so I could report back to the inspector. But at the agreed time, that's when I heard the gunshot. It was at midnight on the 17th of June, 10 years ago. That's when the time scheduled. That was the time scheduled for the execution.
But the professor's execution never actually took place, did it?
Or rather, the execution itself must have been used to affect the plan of escape. I hardly dare to imagine what a chilling plan it was.
Barclay was renowned for being the highest security prison in the country.
It's 88% humidity? Damn, oh my god.
Everything that went in or out of the place was searched multiple times. But there was not one notable exception, or rather, one notable loophole, something that was never questioned.
I have a feeling I know what that loophole was now. The coffins into which the bodies of the executed convicts were placed, correct?
Yes. Once the coroner had confirmed the death of a convict, the body was taken in its coffin for immediate burial in Lowgate Cemetery, behind the prison. The chief warder first had to sign the necessary papers. And after that, no member of staff was permitted to touch the coffin containing the body again. When executions took place, only the executioner and the coroner were permitted inside the chamber. I would wait in the adjacent room for the word that the condemned convict was dead. On that occasion, once I had that confirmation, I went into the mortuary to find a lone coffin as usual. The procedure that I would sign the paperwork, having checked the coffin and then nail it shut. But for some reason that day, the coffin was already nailed shut.
No!
I didn't think of anything of it at the time. I assumed that my deputy had checked the coffin and nailed it shut before I arrived.
So you mean the coffin contained...
Yes, I can only imagine that Asorgi, having escaped from his execution somehow, was alive inside the coffin. The coffin was then taken out to the main gates and deposited in Lowgate Cemetery.
Presumably there wouldn't have been enough air inside to breathe for long.
So in the early hours following the burial, somebody dug up the coffin again to set Genshin free.
But in the end, he was fatally shot going into the graveyard anyway. What on earth really happened in Lowgate Cemetery that night, I wonder?
I'm afraid I really don't know. All I can say with certainty are two things. Asorgi couldn't possibly have escaped that way without any help from somebody working in the prison. And that somebody was not me.
Dr. Sith. Obviously you knew the man then. The professor, I mean, Genshin Asorgi.
Yes, I remember him well, in fact.
Would you mind telling us what you know?
Well, having been condemned to death as he was, any contact I had with the man was short, obviously. After that trial, which was carried out behind closed doors, attended only by elite members of the judiciary. They called for his execution to be carried out at the earliest possible opportunity.
The outcome of the trial was set from the beginning, wasn't it?
It was a time of delicate diplomacy when Britain and Japan were in the process of signing an important treaty. That meant that this potentially destabilizing case had to be dealt with swiftly and discreetly.
The man had less than a week in total. As I was the chief warder, I was short stay in the cells until his final hour. I remember being struck deeply by his noble character and incredible resilience.
What do you mean exactly?
He was a killer of many men, but he was always quiet and polite. He was a gentleman and a man of intellect. In fact, I couldn't bring myself to believe what he'd done, so I asked him one day. Those 5 members of the aristocracy whose lives were taken, were you really responsible?
I'm guilty of the unforgivable crime of ending another human's life, yes.
The following day,
That's an interesting way of wording it.
the closed trial took place, and the verdict was no surprise.
Guilty.
That night, when he was brought back to his cell, I saw something unusual.
Something unusual. What?
The last will and testament of Genshin Asogi.
Okay.
As I said, it was on the night following his trial, after he'd been found guilty. I was doing the rounds of the cells, and when I looked into Asogi's, I noticed that he seemed to have a sheet of paper in his hand.
Ah, his last will and testament then, presumably.
As soon as he noticed me, he hurriedly shoved it behind his back.
But why did you find it so unusual? Isn't it normal for a man to pen a will when he knows his death is nigh?
Yes, that's true, but there were special conditions to Asogi's incarceration, you see.
What sort of conditions?
Well, even though he was held in a cell designed for his condemned inmates, he was allowed to keep his personal effects with him, with one exception.
Really? He was allowed his things? That is unusual, certainly.
Of course, he'd been convicted of killing 5 members of the aristocracy, but at the same time, he was a guest in our country from the Empire of Japan. The powers that were were determined that his final days shouldn't be needlessly uncomfortable.
What was the exception you mentioned to the personal effects that he was allowed?
It was Karuma, wasn't it?
That's the point. He wasn't permitted to have writing materials, specifically no pens or paper.
So, he was prevented from leaving any written record of what had happened to him.
Yes, that was the long and short of it. I have no idea where he obtained that paper. Any writing materials would have been confiscated from him upon his incarceration. As I said, he hid the paper behind his back and then pleaded with me. What did you just hide behind your back?
Please turn a blind eye. This is my lifeline.
But you know it's against the rules.
You're the only person who's seen it, if you just agree to keep quiet.
Alright then, but what's on that paper?
A last will and testament. This will is the only weapon I have left now.
How can a will be a weapon? So I decided to pretend I'd seen nothing, and let him keep his will. But then later, it just seemed to vanish without a trace.
What? What do you mean, vanish?
It would seem that this isn't the end of the story of this mysterious will.
I was the only person who saw Asogi's will, but
It somehow disappeared. Hold up. Yeah.
it was after Asogi's execution.
Which was actually an elaborate jailbreak.
The wardens gathered up Asogi's possessions that were in his cell. They were all to be sent back to his family and home in Japan, you see.
Poor Kazuma-sama.
And you're saying that it wasn't anywhere to be found among his Among his personal effects. The will, I mean.
That's right. Though I didn't search through them myself. But Governor Kaiden was livid. He was screaming. It can't have disappeared completely.
That doesn't quite make sense, though, does it?
In what way?
Well, we'd understood that only Mr. Vigil was aware of the will's existence. In which case, how did the prison governor to look for it?
Oh yes, you're right.
I really don't know how he knew, but it certainly seemed as though he knew of the will's existence from the outset. Only he didn't refer to it as a will. What he said was the Asorgi Papers.
The Asorgi Papers.
I really can't tell you anything of the subsequent events. Because, well, of what happened. Your dismissal, and the way you blocked her all for your memory. I'd forgotten all this until now. Until today. I don't suppose it's relevant to the case, though.
Well, anyway, thank you very much for sharing it with us, Mr. Vigil. We're grateful. It's fascinating. I'm just gonna check if my cat wants to come into my room real quick. No. Not you. Hey. Oh, he wants to come in, yes, there we go. Let my cat play? Hello. Come on. You want to be here, right? You haven't been on this bed for a while. Hey. Say hello to the stream. Okay. Other cat has left. Yeah. There's one cat that likes sleeping on my bed. I don't think he wants to be on my bed. Oh no, he doesn't because the aircon's on. Oh, he's just gonna stick underneath the bed. Okay. You're gonna get tangled. Hey, no. Careful, bud. Yeah. There you go. I need to get this fixed. Hey, there you go. I can turn off the aircon and I can open the. I shouldn't open the door. You heard a meow, yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll sort this out later. But yeah, no, he was looking lonely last night because I didn't sleep on the bed with him. He didn't sleep on the bed with me. So I'll give him some special time tonight, I think.
I'm afraid there's really little more I can tell you. My wife Evie will be here shortly, so I do hope I don't appear rude, but...
No, not at all. Thank you again.
What will become of you now?
Well, impersonating a police officer is a criminal offense, of course. Imagine that once I'm fully recovered, I shall be arrested.
I'm so sorry.
Don't be, please. This was all my own doing. I always knew that this day would come.
Well, I wish you well. Goodbye, Mr. Vigil.
Oh, whoa! Before you go, there's one thing!
Yes? What is it?
The Asorgi Papers. I'd be very grateful if you'd make no mention of the things I told you about them.
Presumably for some good reason.
It's my understanding that their very existence is a closely guarded secret. If it became known that I'd remembered, well, it could be rather troublesome, I think.
Understand. Some sort of will that Genshin Asogi penned just before his death, which the man himself claimed was his last weapon. I wonder, perhaps that had something to do with his plan to escape. If there's anyone who might know about a document that Kazuma's father left behind,
It would be Mr. Vigil's governor. Then we know precisely where we must go. Back to Barclay Prison.
I love how they're like, please don't mention it to anyone. Okay, we're gonna go mention it to, the prison warden. These must be the patient's treatment notes. Let's see. Tendency to jump from windows. Remember to place a cushion at the base of wall outside. Aren't we a story up from the ground here?
Oh dear. Oh, Mr. Vigil.
Can't help feeling there's a better solution to the problem than a cushion, though. Finding something you'd lost isn't always a happy experience, it turns out. Pursuing the truth can be a very dark business sometimes, can't it?
Yes, I'm afraid it can.
Well, at least he seems to be on the mend.
You know, his disguise as Mr. Gossip was really quite merciful, wasn't it?
Can't remember anything about it except for the floppy lip.
Imagine not even his wife would have recognized him.
Perhaps. But did he really have to take it quite so far? I feel sorry for this guy. Like, none of what happened was his fault, then. This notice caught my eye before, actually.
I suppose it's some sort of slogan for the ward. Cheerful welcome message, perhaps.
Let's see. Pay with a good cheer, leave with good cheer. Well, look at that. You were spot on, Mr. Sato. It is full of cheer.
I wonder how many discharged patients pay their medical bills with good cheer, though.
Yeah. Once I had to have a very painful injection when I fell ill with a cold. It felt awful already. So why did I have to suffer the sting of an injection as well as the bill? I yelled at the doctor.
Oh dear, what terrible treatment.
That's a pun on like 3 levels, and I really appreciate that. Patient treatment note. What did those say? I say endlessly obliging. I suppose that's referring to the patient in this bed.
I would think so. Until Mr. Vigil's a little more stable. It's probably just as well he has a kindly person in the neighboring bed.
The endlessly part is a little worrying, though, isn't it? I mean, what if Mr. Vigil suddenly declared that he'd like to take a trip out of the window? Would this endlessly obliging patient simply open it for him safe? Be my guess.
Let's check with the doctor later.
Ah look, a pair of crutches. Before we came to Britain, I hadn't realized they were used here as well.
I imagine they're imported to Japan from Great Britain in the first place.
Oh, so no one in all of Japan broke a leg before they arrived. Anyway. The sight of these things doesn't bring back good memories for me.
Oh dear, did you injure yourself once and need to use some?
When I was little. Though, I thought they looked fun, so I borrowed a pair to play with, but then I slipped and sprained my ankle.
I see.
They contain powerful magic, those wooden staffs. The power to heal, and the power to harm.
I think a certain cheeky little boy managed to cause the harm all by himself.
I love Susato and Naruhodo's interactions. They're so fun. This is why I check everything. There are lots of bottles in the cabinet there, aren't there? Do you think it's safe to keep them there?
Hee-haw! If you're a patient here, I'm sure you take some medicine by mistake when you're half asleep.
That is a worry. But at least the cabinet has a lock, even if it's only a flimsy looking one.
I have no doubt you'd manage to unlock that somehow while you're half asleep as well.
There are limits to even what I can do when I'm half asleep, you know, Mr. Sato. I think that's everything. Wait, no, there's one more. There are all sorts of medicines in this cabinet. Look, I'm not sure if it's safe leaving them in reach of everyone like this.
Yes, you're right. I can imagine if you were peckish, you might try some.
I think this is the same dialogue as chapter, 2. Well, at least there seems to be a little lock to secure the cabinet doors.
I never imagined that would stop you if you were hungry.
Yeah, this is the same. I remember this. Alright, I think I've inspected everything. Yes. Okay. Prison governor's office. I gotta do the Scottish accent.
Oh, back again, are ya?
Yes, hello. Back again, because that is your back, yes.
I heard all about your investigations. I read the report just now. You found them, eh? Vigil.
Yes, luckily. Alright, let's try. Sorry, I had to mute for a sec.
Well, anywho, the laddie doesn't work here no more. So your case is not to do with Barkley. I wouldn't like you to get the wrong idea about that.
Of course, yes. Mr. Vigil stopped working here 10 years ago now, so...
Yes, we've seen his dismissal notice, haven't we? He was given the chop.
Aye, Gimmer. You see, you can very well. So how about a week handcuff biscuit?
Oh, they really are like little handcuffs. It's our designs, too.
So, what brought you doing here today?
Well, there's actually something else we'd like to ask you about.
Is that so?
We believe there might have been a document that disappeared from Genshin Asogi's cell. I think it's been called the Asogi Papers or something.
Did I know, say, Gregson's death has not to do with things that might happen to Barkley? Leave the past to the past, laddie. Let's not foot about irrelevant details.
His expressions changed completely. We're clearly onto something here. Alright.
That murderous botched execution, and the whole miserable escape. They were Barclay's darkest hour, yeah, aye. The Dark Hour, Persona 3. A shocking embarrassment. Because the convict had a collaborator on the prison stuff, you mean?
Oh, because the convict had a collaborator on the prison stuff, you mean?
Aye, for shame. The coroner who confirmed the death of the man after his execution, Courtney Seath. And my chief warder at the time, Vigil, who was in the charge of the whole affair.
Mr. Vigil says he didn't know anything about it.
The rascal wouldn't say otherwise, eh? More handcuffs.
Oh, how could I say no? You can never have too much iron in your diet.
Iron?
When Mr. Vigil was handed his dismissal notice as a result of what happened, he was so despairing he jumped out of your office one day, didn't he?
I'd never like to say it, but that's just Vigil trying to get out of it. Do you not think he wouldn't have jumped from the shock of that crime being exposed, eh? I do.
You wouldn't dare say otherwise, though, would you?
Of course, I can't show no the responsibility myself. Shouldn't have let them deceive me. Actually, there's barely anyone that kens what went on at the time, no? We Gregson haven't been murdered, and Dr. Seath been forbidden from having any visitors.
No visitors? Someone obviously doesn't want her giving anything away.
Well, we're not going to him empty-handed.
And I when they do it, we'll send you packing with no to Kimmer. Here, take a handcuff for door.
Oh, would I be rude to say no? When becoming
What was that? Anemiac? What did that say?
anemic. Wouldn't want to become anemic.
I don't know what that means.
I suppose if anyone who might still care about what happened back then. It'd be that lass from the forensic division, Maria Gory.
Yes, I've seen this name before. Because, yeah, this is the one who did this, isn't it? Maria Gory. Yeah. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Anime? Maria Gory?
I, Seed's daughter.
Oh, is that her name?
She didn't have no more, just the one. But the wee bound following her mom's footsteps. You didn't ever see how scalpel her hand.
Ah.
Mama, what is this?
Where did she spring from? Right, I forgot she appeared for like 2 seconds last guess. Did she just call the doctor Mama? Dr. Seath's daughter, Maria Gory. We could do with talking to her. Adoptive, maybe? Gory. So, she's Dr. Seath's daughter, but her surname is Gory?
Aye, there's some family history, I'm sure, but I didn't ken the ins of it and outs of it. She grew up watching a man walking with the bodies of folk who died in strange circumstances, and decided to do the same with her own life. Can I understand it myself?
Perhaps she was driven by a deep respect for her mother.
Perhaps. Anyhow, she was in charge of Gregson's autopsy, I believe.
Right, and the coroner responsible for this incomplete report.
Someone told me once that the wee lassie always loved her mom's stories about cutting up bodies. There's even a rumor that she used to listen to the funeral march as a lullaby.
Well, then perhaps her mother might have told her about the autopsy from the case 10 years ago.
Aye, I'd say there's a fighting chance at least. After all, that was a life-changing case for all of us.
We need to speak to Miss Gory herself about this. Well, thank you very much.
I'm not happy about any part of this. Took years for Londoners to finally forget the whole professor business. Can you not give up on this, laddie? Stop asking pointless questions.
I'm sorry. I don't like dredging up these painful memories for everyone.
Can you not just stay away, though? Leave me alone and then I come back here, eh? How'd you come to know, how'd you come to care about that, laddie? There's no many folk even here that the person knows those papers.
Ah, well, I can't tell him Mr. Vigil told me.
I'm afraid our sources must remain confidential, sir.
We've been led to believe the papers are actually a last will and testament, is that right? The professor's, or rather, Genshin Asogi's.
Aye, that's right. You're well informed, Jimmy.
Oh, is that the end of the silent treatment? But then after the convict's execution, it mysteriously vanished from his cell, didn't it?
Heavens, no, you're off the heart at half cock there. Think you could cook fox quite straight. It wasn't there, it was there in the cell, exactly where it should have been.
Oh, not what we heard elsewhere.
Let me just have a wee hulk around here, I'm sure I can find it. Aye, here you are, see.
The last will and testament of Genshin Asogi, written with a calligraphy brush. I almost wondered if this is going. I wonder if this is going to be fake. And it did actually disappear.
Of course, cannot read a word of those Japanese squiggles, but my mind it says he leaves all his worldly possessions to his son back as his home.
Yes, that's correct. That's the gist of it.
So these are the Asogi papers.
Aye, of course they are. Papers written by Asogi. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. There's no mystery here, Addy. That's your lot. After all, the Stramaster that sliced her of an execution. We sent the man's possessions back to his clan in Japan, and that was the end of it.
I think we ought to make a record of this, Mr. Naruto, just in case.
One thing before you go on your way, Mr. Naruto.
Oh, yes?
Those papers are not to do with Gregson's death. Prefer if you didn't make no mention of him outside this office, or rather, I wouldn't just prefer it, considering an order from the highest levels of our government.
I understand. We're playing with some fire here, jeez. Am I meant to present something? I, Genshin Asogi, hereby request that upon my death, all material possessions and wealth belonging to me in London be delivered to my son, Kazuma Asogi, in the Empire of Japan. It is with deep sadness that I accept my fate in this foreign land, within the knowledge that I will never see my homeland or family again, but I regret nothing about my chosen path. Okay. I feel like I should present something, but I don't know what the game would want me to present at this juncture. I don't think there's anything to present, so I'm gonna move off. And we're gonna go to... Well, what am I doing? The Justice Office, I guess? Playing with some Fire Emblem Engage? Oh. I wasn't sure what to do next. I guess this, yeah, here. Okay.
No arguments, Prosecutor Asogi. You will continue with the trial exactly as instructed, is that clear?
Perfectly. It's Kazuma-sama. Defying Lord Strongheart by the sound of it, he never did know when to back down. Did he just look at his leg, he's just pivoting. He's just got magic.
On your way out now, Asogi, my lord.
Hello. I miss the headband. I miss the headband that always blew in the wind, even when there were no wind. That's what feels wrong about this. Kazuma. He left without saying a word.
Yes, what are you doing here?
Oh, well, I was just hoping to ask you a few questions, if you wouldn't mind.
I wanted Von Zeke's trial was concluded yesterday. But Prosecutor Asogi's unwelcome inquiries are going to make it longer than necessary.
Unwelcome inquiries?
As a result, I'm losing even more precious time. Currently 2 hours, 55 minutes and 41 seconds. 42, 43...
We must resolve everything before 3 hours apart, Mr. Nodhora.
In a miraculous not even 5 minutes. Anyway, part of the man's obvious bad mood put me off. I need information. Does Prosecutor Asogi believe that Lord Van Zeeks is the Reaper?
I wouldn't know. It was 10 years ago, in that fateful close trial, that Lord Van Zeeks made a name for himself among the judiciary. But the next trial he fought, he lost. It meant the ringleader of a criminal organization was acquitted, thanks to all the jurors being under duress.
But that's awful!
That man's freedom was short-lived. He lasted just 3 days.
Yes, let me see. He died in a rock slide at his place of work, I believe.
Correct. That was what the inauguration of the Reaper. That was the inauguration of the Reaper of the Bailey.
And people believed Lord Van Zeeks was responsible.
He was brought to trial himself, but it was shown to have been an accident.
So he must have had a solid alibi then.
Nevertheless, the mysterious deaths continued. In total, 16 persons perished under unusual circumstances, ostensibly at the hand of the Reaper. That's a long run of coincidences.
Well, the Reaper's tragedy may all be revealed by this trial.
And the impact of that revelation would have on the British public cannot be understated.
That's why it's a close trial.
Precisely. This country hasn't seen a close trial for 10 years.
So the last one was the Professor's trial of Genshin Asogi. Oh, interesting.
Correct.
Actually, we heard that originally. You were going to prosecute that trial yourself, Lord Strongheart.
Von Zeeks entreated me to relinquish the prosecution to him, that he might avenge his brother's death. And here we are, 10 years later. With the son of the man von Zieks condemned now looking to avenge his father's death in the same way.
They do say that what goes around comes around.
However, it would seem the young prosecutor is harboring some ulterior motive as well.
Kazuma is.
I like my organization to run smoothly, in the exact manner I prescribe. With the giant clock in here, I won't tolerate a single cog being out of step with the others.
Ah, so that's what all these gears are about in here. The Xenogears?
If the young man refuses to mesh with the other parts of my great machine, I will be forced to take steps.
What do you mean?
Not something with which you need to concern yourself. In any case, all your questions will be answered tomorrow.
I wonder if he's gonna be the culprit of the 5th case or something. He strikes me as a very Ace Attorney extra case, Ace Attorney 1 extra case kind of villain. I don't know. Like, he commits crimes to improve the justice system. I don't know. Anyway.
Now I shall have to ask you to excuse me. As of this moment, I've been delayed from attending my next meeting by precisely 3 hours.
Oh my, that is a long time.
And I hold you entirely responsible.
Even though we miraculously managed to fit everything into not even 5 minutes. I wonder if you might agree to us, talking with Prosecutor Sorgi.
Discussion between the defense and the prosecution outside the courtroom are generally frowned upon. However, I will make an exception in this case. Now go. You can find him in his office.
Oh, thank you.
Let's go see him at once. Mr. Naruhodo.
Kazuma's my best friend in the world, but I'm really not at all sure I know to talk to him at the moment. I should probably stop. I think I'm gonna stop here. I want to do more, but I feel like it's getting late, and I think it's probably a good time to say, hey, I need to get to bed. So, yeah, I think this is where I'm gonna stop for now. And I will try play this tomorrow. I am not sure if I'll have time. That's the only thing. So we'll see how things go. But yeah, holy shit, this game is so good. This game is so fucking good. Oh my god. I'm so excited to actually finish this game. But I don't want to rush it. I feel like I've said that every stream. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm gonna stop here. And head to sleep. Nice long stream. I mean, yeah, 3 hours and 3.5 hours is pretty decently sized, I'd say. Alright, good night. Heading to sleep. Thanks for watching. See you later.